Hey everybody, this is the Touchline Thoughts team. We are covering the men's Champions League final. We did the women's a couple of weeks back. We're doing the men's this week, and it's the same team that brought it to you that couple of days ago. So I'd like to welcome them. My co-host, Paige Culver. What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. I'm excited. This is going to be an interesting game for us three because we're all United fans and our hated teams are playing each other, which is I don't know who to choose, but we're at that point anyway.
I have an idea.
And the guy who just said he has an idea, Nick McVicar, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Oh, another day, another final. So always excited to watch a good football match.
Yeah, for sure. Hoping it's a better final than the heartbreak we saw midweek, right?
Listen. We weren't talking about that, Irfan. That's not the game we're here to talk about. Why you gotta bring that up? Why?
But if I don't shamelessly plug Manchester United at one point, then
don't worry. I was going to. I already had a plan.
Nick, tell them about your shirt.
I'm wearing the vintage United European Championship jersey from '67 because I couldn't wear Chelsea or City because I would be sick afterwards.
See, I went the compromise and just wore blue and white, saying that I'm neutral, but I don't know if I am.
I just put my little soccer. I represent soccer.
Yeah, we represent.
It looks like
sport.
A Champions League logo, honestly.
It does.
I actually bought it in France for the Women's World Cup.
Oh, nice.
When I was here 2 years ago, but
nice.
I support all the countries, all the teams.
We support everyone. Maybe not everyone equally, but we support everyone.
As long as everybody has a good time, right?
Okay. So for today's schedule, we have the three of us, obviously, but we will have a couple of guests pop in, say hello, give us their inside opinions and thoughts as the match progresses. A couple of familiar faces and a couple of new faces are going to join us. So stay tuned for that. And please comment, tweet, text if you have our numbers about what's going on in the game and just to get your thought out, because I think the more engagement we have, the less you hear our voice is just giving us, our opinions that may not be important, but they are important. I'm going to say they're important, but we'd love thanks. we'd love your thoughts as well as this live feed continues. Any initial thoughts from either of you before the match starts? And I will probably be 30 seconds behind on every single one of the clips, but at least I'm here.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. Just no goals in the first minute because my reaction.
Yeah, like the last time. If you watched the last time, you'll know he was like, "Wait, guys, what's going on? You got to fill me in."
And we tried.
It was on all four. It was on all four goals. BT dubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, this is going to be an interesting match. It's just two teams that are offensively gifted, I would say. Chelsea is a very different offensive team than City, for sure. But the weakest part of both of these teams is their defense. So if Chelsea can pip one early like we saw in the Barcelona-Chelsea women's final, that changes the game dramatically for City. And I think if we're really looking at it, I expect this to be a huge game, and I even expect the substitutes to make a huge impact on this game. And we'll get to that when we get to our key players, because that's where my key players are headed, sort of. So.
Well, of course, yeah. It's a classic choice by Nick, I think, once we share that, but he did choose something similar mindset to the women's final where it was defender and an attacker, because that's where the battles are going to be won. And like you said, each team has their strengths offensively. Obviously, City with their possession play, that's the way they attack, that's the way they defend. And with Chelsea waiting for a mistake and having key players that are quick on the break. Paige, what do you make of this final? I mean, I'm excited, but what do you make of this in general?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before, hoping that it's not necessarily a boring final because, you have two Premier League teams who face each other all season in a final. So it would have been nice to see something a little bit different. But, we talked about it before as well. We're all avid Man United fans. So it's going to be difficult to not see United there and to see, two the teams we don't necessarily like in the final, but we'll see how it goes.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, really, right?
One more than the other, in my opinion. But
right.
Why don't we get
All
to
right.
our? Why don't we get to the road to the finals there, Irfan, while we have a little bit
I
of
think
time?
so. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Why don't you pop that up? And both teams won their respective groups. Not a huge surprise there. There wasn't much competition for them within their groups. But as they progressed into the knockout phases, we saw Chelsea go up against two Madrid sides, and then in between, sandwiched by Porto, who was the Cinderella team, I think, of the tournament. And when you look at Man City, there's two German teams, and then last year's second runner-ups in general with PSG. So who's had the toughest road to the final, Paige?
I'm just looking right now. I would say City, maybe. I don't know. It might be fairly even at this point. I didn't see all of the matches. PSG's been strong this year. I mean, Porto was actually quite strong this year as well on the Chelsea side, but I think City may have had the tougher road to the final.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Initially everyone says, Chelsea had the toughest road because they played two Madrid sides, but mind you, they played an aging Real Madrid side that just didn't look good all tournament. They were just lucky to be in the semis, in my opinion. If they had a healthy,
very, very polite way of saying that, Irfan. Aging
I'm
is
being
a little
kind.
bit of an understatement.
I was being kind. I mean, to be honest, Liverpool, if they were healthy, Madrid would not be in the next round at all. Porto were, again, the surprise of the tournament, but again, what are they? They didn't really didn't test Chelsea because Chelsea's defensive patterns were to just stymie them, and it happened, and they scored some lucky goals. I think City had a tougher thing because Gladbach is an up-and-coming team when Marco Rose was there. Dortmund being the pace that they are with Erling Haaland and Sancho and Jude Bellingham, and I can list the young talent, Gio Reyna, and then PSG, who arguably have the best player in the world at the moment in Kylian Mbappe. So I think City has had a tougher route, but I think it's good for them to face tough competitions, putting 4 goals by everyone so far. I think it's good for them. Nick, what do you make of this?
Honestly, it's not even close to me. City had the significantly tougher route. Chelsea played Atletico, who, yes, Atletico had a great season, so they would have been the toughest competition they played, in my opinion. I don't think very highly of Real at the moment. They're not the same squad that we've seen in years past. They are a shell of what we're used to when we say Real Madrid. So it doesn't even come into play for me. And Porto, as much as you want Porto to be one of the top teams, they're just not there right now. So let's call a spade a spade. City played the much harder route all the way through, and I think that might benefit them more because they have had to play harder competition outside of England, and now they're playing an English squad, which, let's remember, they just won the league. It's not even close. So
I guess it's different when you see the team you're playing in the same league, right? You see this team every week. You kind of know what to expect versus, playing a Porto or Madrid or something. You don't see them very often, so you don't necessarily know what to expect.
Exactly. You nailed it on the head there, Paige.
So what do you two make? She's really good with that, eh? What do you make of the fact that Chelsea's under Thomas Tuchel has played the City twice this season and won both those games? Does that play a mental factor in a final? Does it may play a factor in a different competition? Like, what's Chelsea going to approach, and how are they going to approach this game? Are they just going to do what they did to win those games, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, they played the right system in both of those games, so they're going to want to have they're going to want to play the same sort of style. If you look at the lineups, which we'll get to in a bit, I'm not really confident with the lineup, honestly. I'm not a big fan of 5 defenders with 2 defensive-esque midfielders in the middle. That kind of screams that we're going to play a park the bus style old school Chelsea under Mourinho, and I don't like that personally, but it's not for me to say. So it could work for them because they are going up against a very offensive team and they have the speed to counterattack. Like, I mean, Conte in the middle, he is a defensive midfielder, but that guy can run and he can beat people with pace. So that could play into a huge factor. You have Reece James on the outside as well, who can do the same thing. And even Chilwell to some extent. He's not as fast as those other guys that I mentioned, but he can get up and down the field and make some huge plays. So if they can get the right counterattacking method against City, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, especially to stretch them out with, I guess, the formation that Tuchel's gone with. I mean, he's been in the final before. I don't think he wants to give away any space to anybody and be trailing, because when they were struggling against Bayern, it was quite evident that this is Bayern's championship last year. So why don't you pop up the starting lineups there, if you don't mind?
Yes, sure. Let's start with good old Man City, since they are the home squad here. And it's not really a surprise, the City lineup. They're going with 4-3-3. They got Foden, Gundogan, and Bernardo Silva across the middle. That's a strong lineup. And then they have, obviously, De Bruyne playing just in front of those three, with the two strikers up top. They're a good squad. Again, the biggest question will be the defense, right? And we can talk about it over and over again, and I'm sure Paige will agree with me on this one, but the defense is not the strongest. So it's going to be an interesting see how they go.
Well, okay, let me question this then. Is the City defense better than the Chelsea defense, or there's no compare? I mean, there's no real highlight except for maybe Ruben Diaz, who's the best defender in the game.
I would honestly say they both have holes, and it's not the most consistent. So we're going to have to see how they play in this specific game, because they've both had the opportunity to be really good in games, and I think they both can be really good in matches, but they're just not consistent enough to call them a good defense for either side. So,
Paige, for you, any surprises in terms of who's starting the game or in terms of formation by Pep Guardiola?
I think the starting lineup's pretty predictable for Man City. It's been pretty consistent throughout the entire season. I mean, Pep is a pretty consistent coach in general. So, I mean, I'm not very surprised. And, I mean, they've got a solid lineup. It's going to make up for a good game, but I'm still, I don't know. I don't like talking about City.
So let's move on then, Paige.
It hurts my soul. Let's move on.
Let's go over to Chelsea there.
So you go ahead.
Right away, like Nick alluded to earlier on, a very defensive sort of setup, but hard working players in that midfield for Thomas Tuchel, which is going to be massively important if they're trying to shut down the false nine from Pep, who, by the way, is not going with a defensive formation like he did against Lyon last year. He's actually going offensive and trying to put pace onto this team. So that's the difference there. But Nick,
he also doesn't have enough defenders to throw in a defensive formation at the moment.
No, he doesn't. I mean, unless you want to put Kyle Walker in a center back position that England did for the World Cup.
We're not talking about that, Irfan.
That's an option. I'm just saying.
I'm just spot.
We're not talking about that, Irfan. Okay.
Any starting surprises with Chelsea there, Nick?
Not really. I think this is the right lineup in my opinion. I was slightly surprised Jorginho's in there, but at the same time, I'm not. Like, I could see him not being in the starting lineup, but he also is a very good defensive midfielder when he's on, so I'm not surprised at the same time.
What do you make of Kai Havertz getting a start in the final after a subpar season so far?
He's had spurts of pure genius, and that's what you need in a final. You need a guy who can make those ridiculous plays out of nowhere and just make something happen. So for him to be in the starting lineup, it's zero surprise to me at all. He needs to be in there to start the game, and we've all played with players who need to be in the starting lineup, so we know that those guys need to get in there. They can't come off the bench. He's one of those guys that I think needs to start the game.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously we'll see Adoy and some pace put into the game if they need him.
And probably Giroud will come off the bench as well. Let's not forget him.
For sure. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Starting lineups and coaching formations, and we'll see what happens so far. I think we have a guest in the wings, Paige.
Yeah, we've got our first guest here. I know we've got two super avid soccer fans. Hi, Kyle and George. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello there. Thank you so much for having us.
How are you
Really
guys doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Ready to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Excited.
So I know you guys support, well, Kyle, I know you support United.
Yes.
George.
I feel
Who
like
are
this
you-
is going to be a consistent thing on the show today. Is anyone else realizing this?
Getting a lot of
We-
United supporters.
we might have an Arsenal fan later on. That's
Maybe.
about it.
Oh, that's bold.
who are you guys cheering for this game?
I know I'm cheering for Chelsea.
I'm cheering for Chelsea as well. I think what wasn't said is I'm a huge Liverpool fan. So
Yeah, George is Liverpool.
I think
Hey, attaboy.
purposely overrode that though.
yeah, I don't know. Paige didn't mention that. I don't know why, but
Do the intro again.
yeah, run it back.
Run it back.
Yeah.
So what are you guys looking forward to in this match?
Oh, it's definitely going to be an interesting match. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of pace into it, especially City's lineup. City, I've always had a lot of pace. This whole Champions League route has been very fast on them, fast on the ball, fast all around. They have a lot of fast players. So it'll be very quick, might throw some of the defenders off both ways. So it'll be a quick one for sure.
for me, I think the most interesting tactic is that cities are not playing a really holding midfield. So they have Rodri and they have Fernandinho on the bench. And Fernandinho brings a lot of experience, but it looks like Pep wants to hold the ball and play players that are more comfortable on the ball. And that's where we see Gundogan. I think Gundogan is not going to be playing a full holding mid position, but he's going to be the deepest one out of the three there.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up because we just had a comment in the chat from Cookhouse OSO, and he's saying that the Chelsea lineup was predictable, but Pep choosing Ilkay is a bit of a surprise and leaving out Rodri and Fernandinho. So it's funny that you mentioned that literally just as he commented that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Gundogan's presence is not surprising, but the way he has him in this team is a little bit surprising.
Right. And especially the way that Fernandinho has been proving himself in recent games, especially in Champions League games, it's kind of a little, I feel like Pep's going more all-out attack.
Mm-hmm. Do you think his age plays a role in the decision to maybe not start him for the beginning of the game and maybe bring him on if there's a lead later on in the match?
Maybe it might have a bit of a role. He might want to go out, like I said, all out attack at first, see how the game goes, maybe try to get an early lead, and then if worst case, as you said, bring him on later because he has that experience and kind of hold that lead later on, if they get the lead early on. But especially with Thomas Tuchel at halftime, Thomas Tuchel demands a lot out of his players. So if that does happen, gets an early lead, it might be tough for them to hold that lead. So I definitely think that his age might be better for later on.
And we have to consider too, when Chelsea are going to counterattack, they have a lot of pace in Werner, Havertz, and Mount, right? So Fernandinho is getting up there with the years. He has experience, but that's a player that you might want to put on later in the game and trying to shut out a 1-0 or 2-0 win, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I also was like, Rodri played a lot of games this season and he relied on him. And he's not as old as Fernandinho. He has a little bit more pace. So I don't know. We're going to see with that.
For sure. Are you both surprised to see Raheem Sterling make the starting lineup, especially the last couple of weeks where he's been dropped in massive games, and having Phil Foden go into the midfield playing more of a David Silva role in this final?
Yeah, I actually am surprised about that. I didn't think that they would start Sterling at all. Just based kind of off of what you said, he hasn't been like playing too much recent games. And I was thinking about it earlier that I totally probably would have went with Gabriel Jesus in the front. He's just as fast, he's very quick, and causes a lot of problems for defenders. So I am actually quite surprised that they're starting Sterling, relying on him. So
and I mean, me and Kyle were actually just talking about this. We were saying that Guardiola is one of the managers that he's not afraid to bench his stars, and he's given Foden the opportunity to play in a very good Manchester City team. Like their bench alone is better than half the teams in the Premier League and Champions League. But I think he's going with Sterling based on a little bit of more experience, but it's just, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. We'll see how that goes.
My take on that is very, very similar. Sorry, Irfan, I apologize.
No, go for it.
What I said about certain players needing to start, Sterling is one of those players. He's not one that can come off the bench comfortably and find his way into a match. And he's shown that throughout his career. He doesn't come off the bench. He needs to be in the starting lineup to get his feet under him, to get the pace of the game. So I think that's what Pep is thinking. He's thinking, you know what? This guy cannot be a sub late in the game if we want him in. He needs to be in from the beginning. So that's probably what his thought process was. Whereas Gabriel Jesus has shown that he can come off the bench, especially in big games. So I think that's his thought process there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
I mean, we also can look at Aguero too. Came off the bench, scored 2 goals. You know, it's going to be his last game in a Manchester City jersey. Maybe he has something to prove. I think that's a really unique point. Is he going to put on Jesus later on? Is he going to put on Aguero?
That's a tough
both.
call.
Yeah, put them both on.
They have
So
5
looking at this
subs.
game,
They have 5 subs.
every striker you have. You don't look for it.
right? So I know we're going to talk about it a little later in the show, but who are the key players for either side for you guys?
Key players. I know I'm looking forward to Foden playing. I know Pep puts a lot of trust in him, and he's shown, he's proven himself. And I was saying earlier, like as a United fan, it kind of bothers me that City have Foden, but he's a really, really good player. And unfortunately, he doesn't have too much experience because he's still young. However, it doesn't look like he doesn't have experience. He always plays with a lot of confidence in everything that he's got. He doesn't need a lot of backlift on his shots, and he's got a lot of powerful shots. I think he's going to come out guns blazing and be a lot of problems from the start all the way through, however long Pep plays him. So he's a key player in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, I think Foden is the exciting person to look at. He's just done so well, and every time he's called upon, he reaches. He gets to the occasion. And but I don't want to overlook Mahrez because he's actually been pretty good this season, and I think he's a little bit underrated even. I think I don't know how many. Do you guys know how many Champions League goals he has?
He's got 4 goals in 11 matches.
4 goals in 11 matches, yeah. So and again, he's one of those players that's kind of in and out of the team. But I think he was called upon. Like when he was called upon, he was there. Chelsea side, I would say Mason Mount, although he hasn't been in form of late. But I still think he's another exciting player who can really strike the ball. So,
yeah, and on the Chelsea side, I think N'Golo Kante is going to be a big key player because I feel like he always is. Even though, I feel like he kind of flies under the radar, but even in situations where you don't expect him, he's there because he's all over the field. He's hardworking. So no matter what, he's going to be a key player. He's going to be a problem to deal with. I feel like a lot of the strikers are going to have a problem when he tracks back because he's a player that's all over the field. He doesn't stop running no matter what.
N'Golo Kante is one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the game right now. So
yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. He's one of my favorite players to watch because I love those hardworking, gritty players, and
I love
covers
hard work.
so much ground.
Reminds you of Canadian soccer because we might not have the skill, but we will outwork you. That's about as far as we go.
That's exactly it.
But there is no pace in that middle, though, right? We see Jorginho's a very slow player, and I just don't know how they're going to cope with the Manchester City midfield.
Yeah, they're quick.
They're gonna rely on Conte to keep up with pace because he's fast enough to keep up, but they're gonna really hope that they put the fast guy on Conte the whole game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. He can't be covering everybody's position all game. So
yeah. And I think Conte,
he's superhuman. Yes, he can.
Yeah, exactly. It's Conte. Have you seen this guy? He's everywhere.
No, but I think didn't Conte get subbed early in his last Premier League game or second last Premier League game?
That was thought process out. Like he knew that they was coming off early because they're like, oh yeah, we have the final to play still. Let's not let him get hurt. That was a well thought out plan, I think, by Chelsea.
keep him healthy, keep him prepared for the final.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be a key player as well. So, like you said, thinking about the final, so keep him healthy, like you said.
Sure. And he's one of those players that got rejuvenated under Thomas Tuchel. Had a not great start to the year.
Yeah.
January, February, you realize that he's still one of the best box midfielders, like you just said. Just finds his game, finds that motivation, and one of the quietest players you'll ever come across, and still does his talking on the pitch, and I think that's what makes him such a good player and one of the best in the world in his role.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you got to keep him there, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely going to be a key player.
Do you guys have a final score prediction and who wins the final this year? Tough question. I know you're both going for Chelsea, but
yeah, that's a very tough question because I know I'm thinking about it and I know I want Chelsea to win. It's very difficult for me to see City not scoring at least 2 goals today. minimum just based off all their pace, their shots. Mara's got a good shot, Foden's got a good shot, and pretty much everyone on City can shoot the ball and hit the target very, very well and with confidence. I mean, if you look at all their stats, you probably have like 30 shots a game or something like that. It's a bit ridiculous, but I'd probably say it's going to be 2-1 the score, and then I want it to go to City. I want it to go to Chelsea, sorry, but I feel like City might have it in them. They really do. They've got the talent for sure.
Yeah, I want Chelsea to win. Liverpool and City have had a big rivalry over the past few years. So, but you know what? We have to look at Guardiola's record in the UEFA Champions League finals. He's a really good manager, and that's not to take away from Tuchel. I think it might be like a 2-1, like a tight match, but Chelsea could easily, City, if you're going to beat them, it's going to be on the counter attack, and Chelsea are definitely going to be playing that way. We look at Thiago Silva, who's a leader in the back, Reece James, very good defender, and Rudiger is getting into some form now. So it's tough. It's real tough, but I think City are going to edge it just based on quality.
Yeah. It's fair.
Awesome.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a great breakdown. Just keep us posted, tweet at us, or send Paige a message on your thoughts. And
Chat,
if you're right on
chat,
something,
guys, come on.
if you're right about something, don't feel shy to say "I told you so."
I'll send Paige right away. I told you.
We will.
Yeah,
but I do want to agree with you that if Liverpool didn't have the injuries that they had, I think it's a different.
Okay.
No,
that's valid.
It is a true statement because Liverpool was taken out by a lot of injuries this year.
Early too.
Early,
Really
exactly. They made
and finished third.
Finished
third.
Yeah. The last 6 games, was it? I was telling George, I was surprised at the fact that they were able to scrape third from what they've the way the season's gone. Like
12 different backline combinations.
Exactly. All credit to them because that was
sounds like our youth team.
Third was really difficult.
It was a little bit more than 12, but you know what? It's okay.
Massive credit.
I'm like, oh, this is a new pair. See how this goes.
Oh, good, another new pair. All right, woohoo!
Yeah.
I'd say massive credit goes to West Ham and Leicester for botching it. That's all I'm going to say for botching it because they had it. Brendan Rodgers, for some reason, the last 5 games of every season just can't get it over the next stage. Inexperience for West Ham didn't really help them, and that experience of Liverpool's front line. I had the same conversation with my dad, who's a diehard Liverpool fan, and he's like, "I can't believe we finished third. I really can't. We can score. Who's going to stop the ball? And then who scores your best goal of the season? Your goalkeeper." So
what a moment.
Yeah.
I wish. Did you guys have a live reaction to that moment? You must have.
We
I
did.
did. If you follow my,
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah. If you have my Twitter, I was like, "What? No, this is a bad decision." And then he goes and scores. So
You know what? Cookhouse in the chat is saying it should have been a red card on Pickford when he hurt Van Dijk. So we'll leave it at that. The Liverpool conversation is over. Let's move on, Irfan.
wonderful. But thank you to both of you, Kyle and George, for joining us. Please, if you want to hop back on any point in time or even on Touchline Thoughts, shoot us a message. We'd love to have you both on. Excellent insight. And with that, we're going to head into a break just before kickoff. So we'll catch you in a quick second.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Hey guys, it's producer Jake here from Betting House, the Garage Door Sports Network's ultimate degenerate gambling podcast. Catch our episodes weekly on Apple, Spotify, and Google as we bring you banter, laughter, and of course picks for all sorts of games throughout the week. Give us a follow on our socials at Betting House Pod, where you can catch all our bets each week, as well as some bonus content. Remember to always gamble responsibly. Let's get rich.
Good day, everybody. This is Ryan from 20 Minutes on Ice. Join me and my co-host Nick McVicar for opinions and analysis on the week that was in the hockey world. New episodes available every Tuesday, wherever you download your favorite podcasts from. 20 Minutes on Ice, part of the Garage Door Sports Network.
Come join me, Kelton Forrest, on the On the Mic college basketball podcast powered by the Garage Door Sports Network, where we talk everything from my disdain for Duke basketball to my love for Kentucky and John Calipari, and everything in between. Check us out under the shows tab at garagedoorsports.com and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, I'm Gabe Ferraro, And I'm Logan Lockhart from Between the Uprights on the Garage Door Sports Network.
We cover everything football from NFL, CFL, and all off-season storylines. We make our weekly picks during the season and cover every headline in the off-season.
Check us out on the shows tab at GarageDoorSports.com for our weekly episodes.
Are you looking for a weekly sports talk show where you get all the latest news, all the latest opinions, and of course, great analysis? You've come to the right place. Garage Door Sports is the show for you. Hosted by myself, Nick McVicar, as well as Irfan Manji and Kyle Vardy, we bring you everything you need to know from the week in sports. Tune in every Saturday as we go live on Twitch, as well as find us on your favorite podcatcher every week.
It's towards the back post, it's found its way in!
All right, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Irfan, Paige, and Nick here with the Champions League final talk. Irfan, what do we got next coming up, my man?
Well, before we get into that, just wanted to say, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Touchline TH. Follow our network at Garage Door Sport or Garage Door Sports on Instagram. Visit our website. Follow the rest of our network. The team's doing a great job trying to get content out, so please support them. Wonderful human beings. Follow them as well. They'll engage in any sort of conversation with you. But let's get right into our key players. The match has started. It is still 0-0, about 40 seconds in on my screen, so I am very happy that no one scored yet and I'm not behind. But quickly, my key players, I think Kyle said this very well, is he picked the same two guys, and there's a reason I picked these guys. Phil Foden has transitioned into that David Silva role that everyone thought wouldn't get filled. He's transitioned into becoming a better player, a more attacking player, but also the biggest thing I really enjoyed about him this year was the fact that he's only committed 6 fouls in close to 1,000 minutes of Champions League play, and he's recovered the ball about 34 times, something that is huge in Pep Guardiola's system that needs to allow them to get that ball back and maintain the possession. And of course, when you pick a guy like N'Golo Kante, who's the engine, who starts in a deep role in your defensive zone and ends up going and scores a goal or assists it, I mean, how can you not have one of the best markers, one of the best box players? And he's going to have his eyes on Kevin De Bruyne when Kevin De Bruyne does his false nine role. So 2 of my key players. I'm going to pass it back over to you, Paige. Who are your key players?
Yeah, so for Chelsea, I picked Conte as well. I think we just talked about it with Kyle, and as you said, he's such a dynamic player. He's box to box. He wins tackles. He's just head down, hardworking. So I think he's in such a key position in this game to make a difference, defend well, make big plays. And then De Bruyne's one of my favorite players. He's kind of a similar profile. He's up and down the field all game. He's also super creative. He gets opportunities on goal. So I think if you give him the opportunity, if you leave him open, he's going to make some big plays for you as well. So I'm excited to watch these two play, and don't worry, there's no goals yet, Irfan.
Yeah, he's probably worried about that right now. So
that's what I'm looking at while you're talking. I'm like, please don't miss anything. Nick, how about yourself? You picked your defensive, offensive sort of key players. Why'd you do this, and what's your thought process behind it?
My thought process is always when you're picking key players that it's a matchup, right? And key players should be people that you think are going to have a huge impact on the game, probably head to head. So my biggest one is Ruben Diaz in the defense of City. Obviously, he's not an offensive threat, but the fact that he doesn't have a card yet in 10 matches in the Champions League, I think is really, really big for him. He's a huge part of this City defense, and I actually went with a sub because I think he's going to have a huge impact on the game, and it's Olivier Giroud. And this matchup is going to be fun when Giroud comes on, because I do think he will come on. Because
did you pick him expecting him to be a sub, or based on like how the season's been going?
I expected him to have an impact whenever he came on the field, whether it was at the beginning of the game or as a sub. So for me, I think how Diaz responds after being on the field for so long before Giroud comes on with fresh legs, that will be why that matchup is key for me.
Right.
But yes, we're into the game now.
We're off.
We're off and running, ladies and gentlemen.
We're off and running, guys.
I can confirm there's no goals just yet.
We're in the 5th minute of play. Big surprise for me in the first 5 minutes is how high of a line Chelsea seems to be playing. They are really pressing.
I was just gonna say that.
And City as well. They were pressing Chelsea's back line. It looks like both teams want to play with the ball in the offensive third, so they're going to try to force the other team to stay in their own defensive third.
They're out for blood this game.
Yeah, they've played each other 2 times already. And by the way, we missed a comment from Cookhouse. Don't worry, we didn't forget you, my man. He said 2 games versus City under Tuchel. Chelsea have won both. Bernardo Silva, Zinchenko, Foden, Walker, Mahrez. All were not in the lineup for either of those matches. So that could be a huge change in tactic for City going up against Chelsea, because that's half of their lineup that they haven't had in those 2 matches that they lost.
How do you feel about there being fans in the stadium? Do you think that makes an impact on the potential outcome of the game?
Well, let's ask you. You're the professional.
I would say yes. I think it we've kind of talked about this in the last one too, is it creates a momentum shift. You know, if you have fans on your side and you can hear them cheering, it brings energy and life to the game in those kind of dull moments. So I think it makes a big difference, and I guess we'll see now if it actually does or doesn't.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I wasn't 100% sold on there being fans in the stands, but I'm kind of happy that they do have fans in the stands. It will be interesting though to see how it affects the game overall. Right, Irfan?
No, 100%. I mean, you usually feed off of people screaming and cheering for you, especially when you go. It's all about your hormones. If you have a positive, oxytocin or whatever you want to call it, it gets you going. It's your adrenaline pumping because there are people cheering for you. You tend to be ready to play. I mean, we've seen stadiums when they've been empty and it just doesn't seem engaging enough. But this start has been fun. It's been very different to what we've seen last. It's been very different to what we've seen last couple of years for sure. And I think they've taken it a textbook out of the women's final, because that was a blazing start there. Obviously, no goals because
team had a blazing start there. One team.
Yeah.
Listen, that one team was special. One team was special, but I mean that was a start. Like we talked about this the last time, and Paige, I think you said this best was, for the women's game, it's about trying to be your best, trying to do your best. For the men's side, they were trying to go more tactical and trying to take that edge away. And I like the fact that they're going up against each other and going for that chance, because I mean, it's a final, it's a do or die. What are you going to do if it's 0-0? Like, I don't want to see a penalty game. I really don't.
Go into 11 penalties.
Can we just say, I don't want to talk about that game too much, but that was an unbelievable shootout. Like, all of those shots, other than De Gea's, were almost perfectly placed. Goalies were guessing right on multiple and couldn't even get to them. That was phenomenal to watch as someone who took a lot of pride in penalty kick taking. It was so much fun.
Very good kick taker, by the way, folks. Like Nick, very good.
Well, and I think we need to appreciate, for people who don't play the sport, they need to appreciate how difficult that is. Everybody just assumes like the shooter's going to score. That's not the case. There's a lot of other factors that play in. To have that many accurate, precise penalties is super impressive.
I've had this conversation with so many people. The place that I used to work at was a lot of hockey players. And they all think it's so easy to take a penalty kick. And I'm like, all right, let's go to a field. I was a backup keeper. I trained as a keeper in penalty kicks behind Kieran sometimes. And honestly, good luck trying to score 10 on me. You'll probably get 6 or 7. Like I won't lie. That's how it should be. But if we're going and you haven't been a kick taker for a long time, I will read you like a book, and I will probably save 3 to 4 of those shots on people who don't have practice. Against someone like Braden or Paige, like Culver family, I probably wouldn't make that many. I might. Actually, that's not true. I probably would rob Braden twice.
Yes, you would.
He's actually not a bad kick taker.
It's crazy how. No, he's good. But it's crazy how mental that aspect is. Like it's the same for, foul throws in foul shots in basketball, like you're like, well, these shooters, they do this all the time. They should get them in. Yeah, but it's like 80% mental, 20% what you actually know how to do. So,
and I don't know if you've ever had this experience, Paige, but I remember growing up for our teams, we had problems sometimes finding 5 people to take kicks. We had 4 guys maybe that were guaranteed. We're like, yes, this is who is going to take the kicks. Oh, Werner. But we never really knew who that 5th one was going to be. Kieran ended up taking some kicks for us as the 5th. We had a rotation of people take kicks as number 5. It was kind of surprising because you'd think, okay, well, just go take the kick. There's really no pressure on one player because there's 5 guys going. No one wanted to take them.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have girls in training all the time who take penalties after games because they enjoy it. But come game time, it's like, nope, don't pick me. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. No,
I
was one of those.
I missed my first ever kick, and then I became the number 1 kick taker, like out of the 5. Not actually number 1, but like number 1 out of the 5 on our team.
First to go up.
Screw it.
Yeah. I feel you. I mean, I can take a penalty kick in practice. Took it in a game, scuffed it. I haven't taken one since. So I mean, hey, it happens. Like you said, it's a mental game, and it's your ability to calm yourself down. But
that's exactly it.
I mean, both of you played at higher level than I did, so yeah.
It's ability to just be proud of what you can do. Like, even if I missed, I knew I was the first kick taker, so I'm like, you know what? Even if I miss, I got 4 guys, and I got a keeper who's going to make at least 2 saves in Kieran. I was fairly confident that he was going to make 2 saves every time. So
well, and I mean, think about that. You just took all the pressure off yourself. You said, well, it doesn't matter what I do, so I'm just going to go do it. And It's the pressure and the lack of confidence that makes you not want to take those shots, or coach, don't pick me. Whereas you're like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. If I screw up, I know my keeper's good and I got 4 other guys that are fantastic. So you just took all that pressure and you probably made more than you missed.
I only missed 1, and that was the first one that I ever took, and it was in a game that we were up 7-0. So, and it was like,
well, there you go.
Actually, and I didn't miss after that because I was like, okay, I'm just going to go up and place the ball. If I miss, I miss. I don't care. And then I stopped missing. So it's like, okay, sure.
Well, there you go. So what do you guys make of the first, 10 minutes in?
It's not boring.
It's fast.
Yeah, it's not boring.
It's fast. It is fast. You think they can keep this up for 45, 50, 90 minutes?
I don't think Chelsea can. I think Chelsea will start to drop back a little bit just because of the way that they're set up. And then they'll rely on 3 or 4 guys to try and bring the pace back in. But I think City's going to keep this up because, I mean, their style of play is their style of play.
Yeah, I actually think Chelsea is happy with how the game's gone so far because they haven't done a lot of running per se. City's been doing a lot more of the running, and Chelsea's been trying to capitalize on chances when they have, and they haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to do that. But they're slowing the game down every time they have the ball, which plays right into their wheelhouse at the moment with the lineup that they have. So it might actually work out well for them.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out as it progresses, and as like I keep saying, it's about momentum. So as the momentum shifts and builds, those are the best parts of the game.
For sure. So I didn't ask either of you, but who wins this game and on what scoreline? We asked our guests. We didn't ask the 2 of you. Start with you, Paige.
Sure, guys. I'll start. I agree with Kyle and George. I don't want City to win, but I think City might just have a little bit of an edge. They might just be a little bit of a more refined team at this point. I would say it's going to be like a 2-1. I think that's what Kyle predicted as well. So
They both
like a
did,
super tight. I would like to see it to be a 2-1 or a 3-2, like a super competitive, tight, lots of opportunities. For me, those are more exciting games. So that's my prediction. Nick, what about you? What do you see in the future here?
I'm seeing a 2-1 game. I really am not set on who's going to win this game. I think it depends on who gets the first goal, honestly. If Chelsea can get that first goal, I think they can go on and win 2-1. But if City hold them off until the second half and City end up getting that first goal, City will win this game 2-1. I don't see City catching a goal early, just because of personal thoughts. And there was another chance for Werner, and he can't finish. 0 finish from Timo Werner.
Oh,
0.
Chelsea's had a couple attacks here now.
Yeah, they have. Chelsea's done a good job clogging up passing lanes, and that's something that's really that's just taken away from Pep. And I mean, I think that's what made Chelsea successful in those 2 wins that they did play against City, was taking away passing lanes and making sure, like another one. They're playing smart, but
and who missed the net again?
There's only one man.
There's only one man that can miss the net that many times.
Actually, I give Werner a lot of credit because he came into a new league. He had to face a lot of backlash because people thought he was going to be the superstar scorer that he was in the other leagues. He still put up 10 goals this year. Like, he wasn't a scrub. He missed a lot of open opportunities because I don't think he was used to getting those so close to his feet. He was used to getting stuff on the run in the German league, and he wasn't ready for it. And people jumped on him. And I think that got in his
Well,
head.
I don't think people realize how difficult it is to go from league to league. It takes like 6 to 12 months to adjust to a league. Like, that's a lot of time. So,
and he's super young. So for him to acclimate, I think it's a little bit harder than, let's say, Ronaldo going from Spain to Italy, for example, because he knows how to prep through all those problems. I guarantee you next year, Timo Werner is going to have like 15 to 20 goals. Like, he's going to find his rhythm. He's going to find a way to score in league. He's going to find a way to score. And whether he decides to go out a little bit wider, maybe he needs to transition out there a little bit and go and do a little bit more of the running, which he's trying. So I think it's just, when someone bites you the wrong way, and I think that's just what's happening to him currently.
I'm gonna play a little game with you guys. You ready? We're gonna say stat of the day. Well, not one of the stats of the day. Let's see. On Chelsea, who do you think has the most goals on the team?
Olivier Giroud.
From both of you guys.
Drew.
Technically, you're right, but he has 10.
Technically, okay. What makes that technically?
Because Timo Werner's tied for the team leading goals.
Okay.
That was my point.
This is all competitions?
Champions League and League.
Okay. I still think of Giroud this season. When you look at Giroud's goal against Atletico Madrid this season, I was like, I think you need a poacher. I really do think you need some sort of ability to get a poacher out there.
My favorite role.
Y'all are laughing. It's the poach.
Well, because you need it. You need someone who is just going after every single rebound. And a lot of teams don't have that anymore because everyone wants to score the big strike from 35 yards out. And I'm sure Paige can attest to this. It's so frustrating that no one goes for rebounds anymore in soccer.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, as a defender, it's great.
Yes, true.
As a defender, if nobody's coming in to rebound for me, I'm like, thank you.
And Chelsea's ability to just turn the play the other way is just remarkable.
They're a counterattacking team. It's built into Chelsea's DNA no matter what manager they have. Because I remember it started really under Mourinho, the first go around with Mourinho, and now they've just continued it. They're a counterattacking team at its best.
I think we go back to St. Claudio Ranieri brought that in the early 2000s, where they didn't have star players to really get them to win games, so they used to be able to catch you on the pace.
Yeah,
I believe it was Zola that was one of the key players at that time.
Zola, wow.
Claudio Makalele as well in the midfield, just putting out some.
Yeah, but he was part of the teams after too.
He was, yes.
Zola really wasn't. So, We're getting them to the 20th minute still. City haven't had, I mean, real big chances yet. Paige, have you noticed that? There hasn't been anything all like way open for them yet.
No, and I question if that 5 defensive is preventing them from creating opportunities, whereas Chelsea in the last 4 minutes have had 3 opportunities. So, maybe at halftime you consider adjusting a little bit to that 5 in the back based on, again, the momentum, the shift of the game. But yeah, they need to create more opportunities up top, that's for sure.
Well, it looks like, I don't know, Irfan, if you've noticed this either, but it looks like Conte and Jorginho are sitting so far back. It's almost like there's 7 on that back line, and then they have the 3 attacking players. So you're trying to go through 7 players with 6 at the moment. Maybe 7 if you get one of your wingbacks up for City. It's just not, it doesn't seem like it's going to work if you continue to play that way.
Very reminiscent of Chelsea's match against Barcelona all those years ago, where I don't remember who the coach was, but they had 10, 11 guys right behind the ball every single time, including goalkeeper. And it was just Messi was like, who do I put the ball to? I have no space to go anywhere. And I think Chelsea are doing the exact same thing to take it away. And on that counter, there's nobody sitting in front of the City defense. So there's so much space because you have attacking minded players in Silva and Foden and Gundogan who are going out there and then leaving a massive gap. So if you see when Werner breaks, he's breaking in through that little space that he's getting from the gap between the midfield and the defense. So that's why I think when we were surprised that Fernandinho Rodri didn't get the start, just to make sure that there's nobody getting to the defense, especially when you're not comfortable with your D. That could be an adjustment from Pep, maybe in the 50th, 55th minute. But at the moment, it's not biting them any poorly. So we'll see if it continues.
For sure.
Yeah, it hasn't hurt them yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Are you both surprised that Aguero didn't get a start?
No.
I know I've asked a lot of surprises, but did in his final game, no? Just to get a pure striker up there to take away some focus away from KDB.
But that's just not their game right now. They don't play with a true striker at the moment. They play with 2 attacking.
Yep.
They play with 2 attacking players who can go out on the wing. And right now, Aguero doesn't have the legs to play a 90-minute game if you're asking him to go out on the wing. So the only way that they bring Aguero in a proper system is if they pull one of their midfielders off behind De Bruyne, go with 2 as opposed to 3, and they throw him up top with those 2 guys still running up and down the wing. Like, that's really the only way to get a player like Aguero in.
Yeah, and you're not just going to put him in for the sake of it being his last game to get 90 minutes. You're going to win. So yeah, thank you for being a part of the club, and hopefully you get put into this game, but only when you're needed. So
because if we win, then you still get if you win, he still gets a medal. It doesn't matter if he's played or not.
Exactly. He was still a part of the team. He contributed in whatever ways, and he can go out a champion regardless. So Pep's a smart coach.
Matches, right? Like it's not like he's been a scrub all year.
Right, exactly. He's used when he needs to be used. So, and I think that shows you what a good coach Pep is, because he's not just prioritizing these players, he's using them when they need to be used.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing about Pep is when he knows a player's leaving, for example, he's found ways to transition new players into that role and then slowly transition that player out. Again, David Silva's example.
Just to change tactic completely and get rid of that role.
Or that.
Just throw him out the window.
I mean, I think when you talk about the best managers in the world and being able to change things on the fly season after season, you think of Pep right away. So
absolutely. Yeah. It's just funny though. Like if you look at City's roster, right? It's incredible. They only have 2 strikers or 2 forwards are listed on their official roster, and it's Aguero and Jesus, and neither of them are in the starting lineup of a final. That tells you that they don't play with a true striker forward mentality anymore. That's not their style. And I think it works out.
For this season, the next season he'll start with 2 strikers or something. Like he's so good at changing up. No, but it's true. Like if you go back when he first started, he had more of a Jesus and Aguero starting at the same time at points, and then slowly one, and now none of them. So we don't know what he's gonna do.
I agree with you. It's just funny that they only have
No,
two
it's
listed,
true.
whereas
It's true.
Chelsea have 4 listed forwards going into this match.
So in the off season, you think City go to pick up more forwards, or is that just that's their formation? That's how they play. They don't need these players.
I think it would have to be the right forward. Like,
Yeah.
if they're going to bring somebody in, it needs to be a guy who can play out wide as well, because it is a system that works for City right now. So it needs to be someone who can take in and go in that Sterling role or something like that, like Jesus can. Like, we've seen Jesus, he can play out wide. It's not like he's stuck in the middle of the park. So for me, I think it just comes down to if a player fits that role, then yeah, they bring him in, no problem. There's really no question about it. It just, are they going to be able to do that? DVA Mechanics, welcome to our stream. We appreciate you following us, giving shout outs as I can.
Yeah, awesome. If you see anything, give us some comments, some likes, some follows. Let us know your thoughts on the first 20 minutes of the match.
It's slowing down, eh?
Yeah. Does Pep Guardiola make a move for Harry Kane?
No. That is not a player that would fit that style.
Well, I mean, he was talking about De Bruyne's ability to service the ball to him. Could that be something? I mean, it's just a talk, but like, would you go out and get one of the best strikers in the world, or would you try and get Son instead? I don't know.
Neither, but I mean, if you have the opportunity to add one of the best strikers in the world, obviously you try to take it. And I think if Harry Kane says, "Hey, I want to play with you guys," then City might try to find a way to do it. I just don't think that's the right kind of player that they want to bring into the system right now, the way the team is sort of going. They have the opportunity to, but it's just, I don't think it's the right move. And I don't know, Paige, maybe you have a different thought on that?
No, I agree. I mean, we just talked about, not necessarily playing, with their true nines or offensive players like that. And I think I don't see a point in bringing Kane in. They've had a successful season thus far in this formation. So for me, it's a waste. It's a waste of money to bring him in. I don't think he necessarily benefits the team, and I don't think it benefits him.
And honestly, like, we talk about the forwards and there's only being 2, but think about how many defensive midfield players they have on City. We talked about it with Kyle and I'm blanking on
George.
George, thank you. Sorry, George. Sorry, man. We talked about it with them that Rodri and Fernandinho are on the bench. They have 5 guys that they could have started in this game, and no one would have questioned it. They don't need
that's
to go
how
forward. You just use
I think that's what George said. Like, their bench is stronger than some of the teams in the Premier League. So I don't see a purpose
Premier
in buying
League,
Kane.
Champions League. Yeah.
So,
but I mean, it's just trying to link and create a story.
Where does
might
Kane end up then, Irfan?
I said this on the show. I think it's a PSG or a Bayern sort of team. I think he needs to come out of England for a little bit, just get his confidence in, get some more goals, not have to do all the work. We saw how deep he had to come to receive the ball, especially when they lost against Dinamo in the Europa League. He was doing more work than he should have been doing, and that's not something you want from a striker who is so dangerous in front of the net. PSG, Bayern would allow him to stay at the top. Bayern obviously have Levy, but if they're looking for a long-term solution to that, then there you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure about PSG personally, just because I don't know how his game would translate to the French league. It's not the same sort of style that England is, where he's benefited so much, because England plays that more pressing style at defense. So he's used to having someone on his back and turning them and beating them with pace. That's not really the French style. I agree. Maybe the German league, he might end up out there. Maybe going to a Dortmund as well. That could be another possibility. I see United actually making a pretty decent push for him, because he would still fit that system as well.
It would,
and he would not have to drop as far back as he has with Tottenham.
No.
First real City chance there in a while, but good defense by Rudiger.
Yeah, they've been really strong defensively, Chelsea, actually, this whole 25 minutes.
Well, I mean, they have 5 players in the middle between the 2 lines.
And then you have 2 midfielders.
But individually, they're making tackles. They're like, I think the individual effort is there.
They're not late on anything.
No.
And something that you've noticed is Timo Werner's first on the ball on everything in the offensive end, in the air, going into the attack. Maybe he picks up an assist tonight. Who knows?
That's a possibility for sure, and I think it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how they get forward Chelsea, because we're applauding their defensive capabilities right now, but I've seen Werner get left up by himself a couple times already in this game, and that's not really what you want either. You don't want him to have to go through 4 defenders because you have 9 guys behind the ball. Like, you need to give him some support, so it'll be interesting to see how they get that forward momentum going. And I'm sure Kieran is hiding behind the couch at his friend's house right now, or his house. He's hiding behind the couch watching this through his fingers as a Chelsea fan.
Him and his coaching. He's probably have some tactics ready to go and be like, this is what they need to do to change this, and probably for both sides too.
Yeah. Let's see if he's commenting on anything on Twitter, or if he's hiding.
For sure. Question for the two of you, Nick. While you do that, I'll pose this to Paige. The referee today, Mateo Lajos, Antonio Mateo Lajos.
Is that how you pronounce it?
You want to try again?
I don't know. I don't know how to say
it.
I'm not doing it again. The referee today and Pep Guardiola have not seen eye to eye ever since Liverpool eliminated Chelsea City, a little while back. He hasn't done anything so far to really say that he's putting a stamp on the game that Guardiola might have alluded to. Is that a big story? There hasn't, but like, he's letting play go. I mean, it's clean. Like, I mean, the players are allowing that to happen, but does he play a big influential role in the decisions that happens? Obviously, as a referee, but is it at that level that Pep and him, maybe have butted heads a couple years back?
I mean, in this game, no. Like you said, he's letting the play run. There's no, necessarily game-changing decisions that have been made. I mean, it could affect it later in the game, but we see this all the time. People like to blame the referees for everything. I like to blame the referees for everything. So at some point, you got to look at your team, and it's either your team scored the goals or they didn't. And yes, okay, a penalty or a free kick or something like that can make an impact in the game. And referees don't necessarily like to make those calls, but in this game, we haven't seen that. So, I mean, I can't say that he's impacting the game hugely because he's made 0 calls this game. I don't think he's blown the whistle once.
He doesn't have to make calls, though.
For an offside.
Nice.
Offside, but that's, offside, but there's no penalties. There's no crazy fouls. There's no, it's been a clean game up to this point. So,
which is a good thing, because being that this is the 3rd or 4th time that these teams have played this season. I can't remember if they played early in one of the cups. These guys don't like each other. Let's be honest. It's not like you're playing a team that you see once a year. This is a consistent battle that they've had over year. They don't like each other. It could have gotten a little physical early. It hasn't. And I think that bodes well for the fans, because we're not going to see a game that is constantly stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. We're not going to see a possible injury because they're not going in to challenge.
Well, I will say, if this is 0-0 in the 70th, 80th, 90th, get ready for it to get
chippy.
A little physical, a little chippy.
Well, it'll get physical, but I'm saying it'll go up from here, which isn't overly physical right now. So it's not a concern for a complete stop start the whole game. Yes, 70th plus, if it's still 0-0, yeah, we're going to get stop start. That's just how the game goes, no matter who's playing.
For sure. And it's a champ. Yeah. It's a final. It's do or die at this point. So it'll get chippy. That's my favorite part of the game.
Oh, you're one of those defenders.
You love the fact that it's chippy?
Yeah, I like to see players get into clean tackles, but hard tackles. And
she played SRSL soccer here in Ontario, South Region.
No, I played OYSL.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're from the South Region.
Oh, the South Region. Yeah,
the South Region teams play a very, very physical brand of football here.
It was that Oakville-Burlington rivalry. That's what did it.
See, for us, it was Oakville-North Miss or Oakville-Erin Mills on the men's side.
For the women's side, Brampton, too. Brampton was in there quite a bit. Yeah, Brams United.
They were big. They were always a big team. No matter what age group, they were always just had big players. I don't know what it was.
They were like...
Water.
at my age group, they were like half the provincial program. So they were such a great team. So it was difficult, but it was always fun to play against them.
Yeah, I remember our age group, there was Erin Mills and Oakville were 1-2. Oakville B at one point was third. So it was Oakville A, Oakville B. It was ridiculous. It's just because North Miss completely botched our age group on the men's and women's side. And they could not put a team together after a couple years. So all of those players are like, well, we can either go to Erin Mills B, who are awful, and 3 levels below, or we can go to Oakville, who is 1 level below. And they ended up going to Oakville and just bringing them up, and they made them really, really good. And then Brams United was always up there as well, as you said.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think this game will be decided on a penalty or a free kick, or do you think it'll be like a counter run of play?
Free kick. Not a penalty, I don't think, but free kick.
I'd say it's an open play. It's going to be like an open play tap or an open play header, and that's all we're going to see. If it stays 1-0, for example.
I think it's a corner or a free kick just because these two teams are so good at it. Right? Mm-hmm. They do so good with free kicks and corner kicks all the time that I think it comes into play and it makes a difference in a final like this.
For sure.
We see our first yellow, guys. Referee decisions.
Wow. As long as he doesn't brand out a red card or a bunch of yellows that we saw in an
It's okay. It's one of
game.
City's center defensive mids. They have 2 more that they can put in.
It'll be fine. They don't need them anyways.
But it is a yellow. Studs up on a 50-50 challenge that he didn't
I agree.
have a chance on.
It's an easy decision.
Yeah. I see it now.
Are you behind?
I'm about 15.
I'll admit I didn't see it originally because I was talking and looking.
I saw the replay right now. Yeah. And why is Thiago Silva down? He wasn't the one that got studs up. It was Mason Mount.
Yeah, it was Mount. Was it Mount?
Yeah, it was Mount. 19.
Sorry, 19. Yeah. Because it's hot. That's why.
No, I see.
Are we having a water break?
It looks like it.
I'm cool with that.
What's the temperature there?
Oh yeah, he's pulled something. Damn, no.
It looks like Silva might have pulled something. That could play a huge factor moving forward.
Well, does that force them into did that force them into a back four?
No, because they'll pull on Christensen.
By the way, very, very good under Thomas Tuchel this later half in the season. I think he's come into his own. I know he's gonna be behind the Rudiger and Thiago Silva, but fitting well if they're looking for a long-term replacement.
Yeah.
Oof, that's the way he fell.
He didn't even fall.
No, like the way he landed.
But he didn't even land that awkwardly. I'm kind of surprised that there's an issue, but I mean,
he's just an old guy. Okay, let him be.
And that might be the case, right? Like he's taking
really
many challenges.
Cramping up.
Well, and if it's that hot and you're not used to playing in the heat, your body is just dead. Like, for example, we had training today and it was 26 degrees and it's been maybe 15 here. And it felt like it was the center of the sun, and your body after 10 minutes, you're gassed. Even though you have the cardio for it, you've been playing all season, it's not a big deal. Just that the change in temperature makes such a difference. And they're probably cramping,
Well, I was going to ask you, Paige, if you ever had any games that you remember being ridiculous temperature. Like I know we had a couple, so I was just wondering if you did.
Yeah, so when I was in university, we did a big tournament down in Florida, and I will never forget our first game. After warm-up, we had to change jerseys. We were wet, like soaking wet from the sweat, and we had a water break at the 25th minute or whatever they do the water breaks, and I have never felt so, like the jerseys were so heavy, and the air in Florida is so heavy. Florida's disgusting.
It's humid, right? That's the
problem. It's not like if you're in Arizona, the heat is dry, so it's fine. You can play.
It's still hot.
It's hot. Yeah, but it's hot. It's pure heat. You don't get the
humidity.
Air. No, the humidity.
100%.
And I will never forget. I remember after warm up, it was like 10 minutes into warm up, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to play 90 minutes.
Do you know
I was one of the I don't remember 100 and something. Fahrenheit, not Celsius.
Yeah.
Maybe 110. It was hot.
Yeah, I remember.
And they weren't sure if we were going to play because it was so hot.
I remember one of our tournaments that I played with your brother down in North Carolina. It was 45 degrees Celsius at the start.
I know the tournament. I think I was there.
45 degrees at the start of kickoff at, I think it was 9:30 in the morning. So it just got hotter, which turns into, I think it's 120 degrees Fahrenheit or something stupid like that. And we're from Canada. All these other teams are from like Florida, North Carolina, like southern states. We're from Canada. And they're like, how are you guys surviving? We're like, I don't know.
We only live in igloos.
Yeah. Well, that might have been, I think my brother's feet sweat really bad. And I think my mom had to go buy him like a new pair of socks so he could change them out at like halftime because it was so hot.
Well, no, he needed 3 pairs that
3 pairs, yeah.
We went into extra time.
Yeah, I do remember.
So
game.
he had the 2 from the that we had from club, and then he needed to get an extra pair.
Because his socks
disgustingly hot.
Yeah, because I don't know why my brother sweats. His feet sweat, but
his whole body was sweating. It wasn't just his feet. I'll give him credit on that. I wasn't. Just, we had one guy who literally his shirt was just water by the end of the game. It was disgusting. And there's the change, Christensen's on Silva.
Yeah, that's the change. As we take a break from Braden's sweaty feet, which we'll ask him at halftime about. But Thiago Silva coming off. Bit of no formation change like Nick predicted there.
That's the logical. Christensen has been so good this year. I think he is third in that rotation of the true center backs. And it just was one of those like, okay, well, if we're going to do that, no problem. Just bring him in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and is the decision for as a coach, is the decision you think is it who's best in training, who's had a more consistent season for a game like this?
It's who you can trust in that moment. I really think it comes down to trust. I'm not sure. I don't play at that level, but wouldn't it be trust? It's like, well, I can put in anybody. If he wanted, he could have gone back 4 because he wanted to put in another midfielder or something.
Right.
But
right.
Have y'all noticed that with Chelsea? They're trying to get the shot back onto their dominant foot. Like there was a chance for Kai Havertz, who could have just thumped it with his right, decided to cut back with his left and just loses the ball. Is that a confidence issue, or is just trying to get back onto your stronger side to begin with?
I think it's both. I think it depends on the player because, these players are playing at the top level. They've got to be able to play with both feet. But you see, Sterling has 1 foot. So
he is like half a foot some games.
Half a foot some games, yeah. So I think it just depends on the player. I think it's confidence. I think it's also you think you have more time than you actually do. There's a bunch of things that play into it. I think in that moment, it's just confidence. He wants it on his dominant foot. He thinks he can score a better goal on his dominant foot versus just taking the opportunity. And I think true 9s, like really good 9s, are really good at just taking the opportunity. And that's why they're the best, because they can put away a goal no matter where they are. You see a less confident kind of 9 or attacking role where they're going to always try and put it on their dominant foot.
Yeah, and the one that I noticed is a couple of guys have been cutting in onto their dominant foot from the outside. So I think it was.
Well, and that can be
Kai was doing that. Werner's doing that.
It's an angle thing for me. If I'm watching what he's doing there, he's trying to create a better angle for his shot and try to push the goalie to the far side a little bit more if he wants to cut it inside. And that might be one of the aspects. But Paige is right. It's a confidence thing, 100%.
Well, and that could be a coaching and tactical thing too. If you have a left-footed player, you want them cutting in all game, you're going to put them on the right side. So it depends as a coach what you prefer. If you want players to run down the line and cross the ball in, you're going to put their dominant foot on the outside. If they're a right-footed player, they're going to play on the right side. If you want them cutting in and getting the angle and going for the shot, you're going to put the right-footed player on the left side. So I think it depends on what the coach is looking for too.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for you guys.
Guys, I'm going to turn on a light here.
Okay. Well, I'll keep talking then. Irfan, I'm going to ask you, I guess, to start. We're about 5 minutes from halftime. Do you see any possible substitutions? Oh, here we go. Havertz is through. Goal!
I missed it. I gotta see the replay.
I just saw the goal now. There you go.
Beautiful through ball. I hope it's on.
Well, he got He got his left foot on the shot. There you go.
Well, I mean,
There
he was
you
cutting
go.
to the left side with the ball. You have to take it from the left. I want
I'm
to
just
see.
saying.
Hold on, but before we get too excited, make sure it's onside because that was close. That was a close play. So we'll see if they challenge.
He's onside. For me, he's onside.
I think he's onside too, but I just want to make sure. Like
He's
that's
for
always
sure
my
onside.
biggest
It's
concern.
like a foot onside.
I don't have that replay. I just have
It's
fans
playing
screaming.
right now for me.
Oh, here we go. I like how Chelsea
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
wear
he
their
is,
yellow.
because the right center back played him on. I think that's Diaz actually.
Yeah.
Diaz played
For
him
me,
on.
he's onside. Clear.
No,
His-
he is. I just
maybe-
you just
maybe
worry
his
because
arm?
of VAR that they might call it back, right? So before we get
Yeah,
too
they
excited-
see a hair. If I'm playing and my hair's like this, I'm offside. So
My
But his
favorite is
arm
the
did go a
jersey.
little forward.
Like if the jersey's not skin tight, my favorite is the jersey sleeve. That's offside. That's not part of the person.
no, that's not a part of your body that you can score with. So they need to clarify this rule.
You
a little
can
bit,
you
I
can
think.
take a deflection off the dangling piece of jersey. That's why they call. I don't,
Yeah, I don't know. I've never understood that, but that's awesome. That was it. That was a beautiful ball through. I don't know who it was. It might have been Chilwell. who
one
played that
goal
ball
in 12
through.
matches. My
That's
lord,
beautiful. Just beautiful.
it's the space. They're finding so
Yeah.
much space between the midfield and the defensive line that they're leaving them around. I'd be seeing you asked that question about a substitute, Nick. I think Rodri comes in to solidify that little midfield. Take Sterling off, put Foden as a winger, which he's done most of the season anyways, and just have that interaction between KDB.
I think they want Foden
Mahrez,
to be
and-
able to move around, so they don't want to keep him stuck on the wing. I could see Jesus coming in for Sterling because I don't think Sterling's really done
That
anything in
too.
this game. To give them and then
Sterling's been super flat, I think.
And the other option then, if you bring Jesus in, is that he can move into the middle and allow De Bruyne to slip out to the side a little bit more to make those cross balls and do that, or Foden to slip out to the side. So by bringing Jesus in as that sort of winger-esque striker, it gives them a little bit more flexibility in their 10 outfield players.
For sure.
So that could be an interesting call. I like that one.
Yeah, that would work. I just really think there's a massive gap that needs to maybe be supported. Do you drop Ilkay Gundogan into a deeper role just to make sure that doesn't happen? But you're not going to because
Nick's like, no, don't even talk.
But that's
about
not
it.
his
Don't do
playing
that.
style.
That's just
But-
what I mean. Like that, he wouldn't fit a deeper role. If you want to go deeper, you pull Gundogan off and you put Fernandinho on because he's more of that deeper mentality defensive mid who's played center back. Let's not forget that this is a guy who has played center back, so he has that more of a deeper mentality. Whereas I don't think Gundogan is a true deep defensive holding mid. He's a holding mid in the sense that he can play behind the attacking mid, but he's not a true defensive mid.
No, not at all.
Paige, do you have any subs that you might see you're thinking about might come on in at halftime or maybe into the second half for either team?
No, I agree. I think Jesus would be a good sub because, like we talked about it, you need De Bruyne to be. I mean, I wouldn't say he's invisible this game because he's never invisible, but he hasn't been able to get those opportunities because he's so good at creating and, like we say, putting crosses in and stuff like that. So I would like to see them put in more of an offensive player. Throw Aguero in there if you need him because they need to score a goal at this point. So I could see come second half them putting in a couple more offensive players and maybe adjusting their formation a little bit to be more attacking, but we'll see what happens.
That Pep Guardiola sad face.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I don't care. Be sad.
Yeah, we don't want City to win. Come on.
Werner, find
Oh.
the net, my friend.
Wait, are you both going Chelsea? Yeah, you are. All right, fair enough.
I'm going Chelsea for our co-host there, Irfan, Kyle. I'm hoping that his team can win.
Kyle, we're thinking about you.
Kyle and his overreaction that when he overreacted to Real Madrid, we're like, no, don't overreact. It's fine.
Yeah, I
for
don't know
li-
if you saw that one page, but it was hilarious. He when we said that Real was facing Chelsea in the semi, he's like, "Oh, well, we're screwed now." I'm like, "No,
you're not.
that's the best possible draw you could have gotten. You didn't want to play City, and you definitely didn't want to play PSG at the time when it was announced. You got the best possible draw."
He's crying about it.
And then we ended up talking
Look
him
at that
down
now.
off the ledge, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, that makes sense."
We're like, on paper, it looks better to Real Madrid, but if this was 5 years ago, it would look better.
Yeah.
You were in. Yeah, he was. He was like, oh, it's Benzema and Kroos. And we're like, yeah, okay, you have N'Golo Kante next. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Relax.
Could we see a Ferran Torres make an appearance for City today?
That'd be a good
Yeah.
That'd be a good
He's tied
addition
for
to
the team
the.
league and Champions League goals, and he's only played in 6 matches.
That's wild. That's wild. That's a wild stat.
People keep forgetting about him when
Anybody?
Kevin De Bruyne.
For goals, let's remember that. I'll give you another chance.
Well, I mean, I'm going blank. I mean, Foden has nothing. So
That's nothing.
joking. He has like 3 goals. Counts.
Paige, who do you think he's tied with for the team lead?
I have no idea.
This is my favorite part of the show already.
Just
We
see
let Nick-
how stumped you can get us.
I'm a stats guy, so I love stats. So if I can stump you guys on stats, I will happily do that. It's Riyad Mahrez.
Give us the answer.
Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah, well, Riyad Mahrez is playing out of his mind. That makes sense.
He's also played in 11 matches, whereas Ferran Torres has only played in 6.
Again, wild stat.
And we are at half.
People are forgetting about Torres and giving him the space to score. I mean, I think that's why Raheem Sterling's going to keep dropping down that pecking order as his career at City progresses. Like Nick mentioned, it is halftime. Why don't we take a quick break? Go get a snack, popcorn, whatever you do. Go to the bathroom, and we will come back and then talk about our thoughts of the half, and hopefully our guest will join us shortly. So go ahead. We'll head to a break, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey guys, it's producer Jake here from Betting House, the Garage Door Sports Network's ultimate degenerate gambling podcast. Catch our episodes weekly on Apple, Spotify, and Google as we bring you banter, laughter, and of course picks for all sorts of games throughout the week. Give us a follow on our socials at BettingHousePod, where you can catch all our bets each week, as well as some bonus content. Remember to always gamble responsibly. Let's get rich.
Good day, everybody. This is Ryan from 20 Minutes on Ice. Join me and my co-host Nick McVicar for opinions and analysis on the week that was in the hockey world. New episodes available every Tuesday, wherever you download your favorite podcasts from. 20 Minutes on Ice, part of the Garage Door Sports Network.
Come join me, Kelton Forrest, on the On the Mic college basketball podcast powered by the Garage Door Sports Network, where we talk everything from my disdain for Duke basketball to my love for Kentucky and John Calipari, and everything in between. Check us out under the shows tab at garagedoorsports.com and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, I'm Gabe Ferraro.
And I'm Logan Lockhart from Between the Uprights on the Garage Door Sports Network.
We cover everything football from NFL, CFL, and all off-season storylines. We make our weekly picks during the season and cover every headline in the off-season.
Check us out on the shows tab at garagedoorsports.com for our weekly episodes.
Are you looking for a weekly sports talk show where you get all the latest news, all the latest opinions, and of course, great analysis? You've come to the right place. Garage Door Sports is the show for you. Hosted by myself, Nick McVicar, as well as Irfan Manji and Kyle Vardy, we bring you everything you need to know from the week in sports. Tune in every Saturday as we go live on Twitch, as well as find us on your favorite podcatcher every week.
We are back from our short little break. Hopefully you got your popcorn or your snacks or whatever you're doing to relax during this pretty good first half. And with that, we have our second guest, or you guys know him as the brother of Paige, because that's how she likes to introduce him. Braden Culver, what's going on, my man? Welcome back.
How are you guys?
Good. It's great to see you. Great to hear your voice. What do you make of the first half so far?
It's been interesting. Yeah, I thought Chelsea have done really well. I think Werner needs to work on his finishing.
I only said that like 3 times. Thanks for repeating.
Yeah, they should be up like what? At least one more. They should be up.
A couple of the chances were tough. I will admit that. The one where he was coming down the left side trying to put it in the near post, that's a tough shot. So,
Is that when it popped off of his chest?
no, he got the ball kind of in behind the D, and he hit the side of the net with his left foot. So
That was in the first couple minutes.
Yeah, it was a tough strike.
Yeah, I think Rudiger saved their life. What's his
On
name?
the one, yes.
Why am I blanking on his name? The English
Foden.
That's going in the back of the net for sure if Rudiger doesn't get that. Yeah, no, Chelsea. I think Chelsea is deservedly in the lead right now.
They've carried a lot of the play, which is kind of nice. Like they've forced Man City into uncomfortable positions, which I don't think City was expecting from Chelsea at all. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Pep does in the second half to try and melt.
What subs do you think he's going to throw in?
Nothing yet.
If any? No?
No, I don't think he'll change any personnel just yet.
We were saying possibly
out.
Jesus for Sterling because Sterling has looked useless.
Yeah, actually, Sterling's looked pretty bad. I don't know. I think he'll let it play a little bit, but I mean, obviously, I don't know. But
you're not Pep. You can't give us the answer.
Yeah, clearly, I'm not Pep.
Are you not going to be his new Mikel Arteta? Is that what you're saying to us? Damn,
that would be nice, But I don't know. I could see Aguero coming on if the scoreline stays the same later in the second.
Yeah, I'm thinking they pull either Gundogan or Bernardo Silva off, throw Aguero up top, and drop De Bruyne a little bit further back to give him some freedom. Because right now he's trapped between 5 players. They got the 3 center backs and then Conte and Jorginho, and he's not getting the ball because it's so hard to get him the ball between 5 players. So
I know.
You need to find a way to get him more involved, and I just don't know how they're going to do that yet.
Yeah, no, there's no one that, you know what I mean? De Bruyne's got to have the ball at his feet with players running in front of him.
And Sterling's not running.
Well, there's nobody running in front of him. I mean,
No.
Mahrez is getting shut down, and Sterling hasn't shown up this season.
Well, no.
Braden, do you think
Mahrez is getting shut down because Sterling's not running? If Sterling starts making those runs, or Jesus or whoever comes on, if they start making those runs along with Mahrez, that opens up a lot of the Chelsea because Foden will be making a run in behind on one of the wings, so you get a lot more options for De Bruyne. Sorry,
Braden, do you think that? No, you're good. I was just going to ask if he thinks that having Chelsea in a back 5 there has made a huge difference for them or not.
A little bit, yeah. No, I like the way they've set up. But I think I'll be interesting to see what Christensen can do because Thiago Silva is a big loss. I like the back 5. I think it's been able to, just like you guys were just saying, there's no runners. You know what I mean? Sterling's kind of pulling out wide and just sitting there, and De Bruyne is all by himself. And he's not a target striker. You know what I mean? He's like a 10. He needs the ball at his feet, and he needs people around him to feed them. And he's kind of just isolated.
Yeah, and that has to do with the fact that Chelsea's shape has been superb. They've maintained that role that I like to see. And there's just a stat right now on BT Sports where there's like about 17 yards between the final defender and the striker. So that gap is pretty small, and they're just taking it away. Do we see more of City trying to spread the play out and maybe have Sterling wake up a little bit, or is he probably the problem and that's what's slowing them down?
He's one of the problems.
That's for you. Yeah, it's one of the problems.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the problems. I think the back 5 is allowing obviously Azpilicueta to get tight on Sterling and Chilwell to get tight on Mahrez and not let them run. But yeah, I mean, once like they're pulling out wide, but there's no runs through the midfield from Gundogan or anybody like that.
Gundogan doesn't have the pace to make runs, unfortunately, and I think that's his biggest issue, and that's why I can see we talked about Rodri possibly coming in or a Fernandinho to change the game up a little bit. Fernandinho would be more of a defensive move, but there's so many things that Pep could do. He has we talked about it. He has one of the best he has one of the best benches in the entire world at the moment. You have options, use them.
Yeah,
and you have 5 substitutions. Use them. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. He does this a lot.
That they have 5.
Well,
yeah, it's just England
6 if it goes to extra.
Yeah.
It's
just England that decided to be like, nope, sorry, here's 3.
Yeah.
except in the FA Cup where they had 5.
Yeah.
So
The league, they wanted 3. They wanted to keep it as it was, but they understood that because there was extra games, it made more sense to have 5 in the cups.
Yeah, of course. You don't want injuries and things like that. You're going to see more injuries because of the amount of games. So you need to make more subs.
So, Braden, we were talking about weird weather games because it looks like it's pretty hot over in Porto. And we were talking about our tournament down in North Carolina.
Oh, when it was like 100. When we were on the
Stinky feet?
news. Yeah, we were on the
120.
news. Yeah, I remember that.
Why were you on the news?
Because of the heat wave in North Carolina. Yeah, but they were on the news talking about how hot it was, and then they had a bunch of clips of us playing in one of our games, because they were talking about how hot it was on the field. I think it was Max. Like receiving the ball and playing it out wide or something like that. He was on
Max
TV.
played it out wide. No. Max played it forward. It's Max.
Shout out to Max. Hi, Max. But we were talking about how your feet were nice and sweaty and you have to change socks.
We weren't.
Yeah.
She was.
Like, do you know how hot it was? It was like 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
I remember the tournament. I do remember the tournament. I wasn't there, but I remember you guys being there. Or
I had to change my shirt at halftime too.
Yeah.
Because it was like the material was just so heavy.
I think
those
that was
Oakville jerseys were weighing
that was
you down.
the final that I got hurt in, wasn't it?
I think so.
Where I got the knee in the middle of my spine on a header, and I got thrown on in the extra time with like 5 minutes left because we were possibly going to kicks.
Oh, and they needed you to take a kick?
Yeah, and then I think you scored, didn't you?
I think so. You took a kick at Disney, didn't you?
I took a kick everywhere we took kicks.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
he's the first kicker. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
You refused to take kicks.
Me?
Yeah. You hated taking kicks back then.
Yeah.
I didn't mind. No, I didn't mind.
No, don't even. You hated taking kicks. We tried to make you take kicks multiple times. You're like, well, I mean, if someone else wants to take it, let them take it.
That's just because Braden's nice. He's like, yeah, if they want to do it, it's okay.
But I took one in Disney.
You did. That's because we were missing half of our team, though.
Mm-hmm.
And you won your team when you played for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I took the most important kick.
Yes, you did.
He won the championship.
As he rightfully should have.
But yeah, interesting.
We had some good times. I just laughed at the weather because I didn't even realize how hot it was in Porto, but they're doing the water break and everything.
Yeah, they have the water break.
Yeah. We
You
had
think
some
that'll
wacky...
make a... No, continue.
I was gonna say we had some wacky weather, and I'm pretty sure. I know Nikki. I don't think you were on
Niagara
the team.
tournament?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Niagara tournament.
I'll never forget that tournament. I was watching, my sister and I and my mom, we were watching Braden. I think my dad was coaching, and there was like a forest behind the field, and because of all the rain, you could just see the trees like disappear.
Like I played in a Niagara tournament. I think I might have been. Was this before I was on the team with you?
Yeah, it was before you were on the team.
I think I played in that tournament. I was just on North Miss.
Probably. There was a lot of teams there. I remember Brampton was there, and there was a few other teams there. So yeah, you guys could have been.
It was a big tournament.
Yeah, I remember playing in the Niagara tournament, and I think we played. I don't think we played you in the tournament.
No,
we played in the tournament. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Did you guys get like pelted with crazy rain?
Yeah.
The tree caught on fire.
There's a tree on fire.
I don't think we had a game that day, but we heard about it. I remember hearing about it from players.
Wild.
The tree got hit by lightning and caught on fire.
Yeah, it was wild.
The only place to take shelter was this metal barn.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And my mom's we had a minivan at the time, and my mom's taking all the blankets from the minivan and throwing it to the boys because it's like freezing.
Do you remember the 5-5 wind tunnel game at Riverdale? Or River Oaks, sorry?
Against
the year older team? It was an exhibition match.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah.
4-1 at halftime.
Freaking disaster.
we were down 4-1 at halftime,
Mm-hmm.
and we ended up tying that game 4-1 in the second half.
Wild.
Gotta love weather games.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for taking us down memory lane. It's been awesome to take this journey with you all.
Doesn't look like any substitutions coming out of Man City currently, so maybe Braden was right onto something that's maybe a tactical change with the players he has, but nothing too major.
Mm-hmm.
Braden, what are your predictions for this game? Who's going to win it? What's the scoreline going to be?
I think I'm gonna go with Chelsea is gonna win, but I'm gonna say it's gonna go. I think it's gonna be a 2-1 win for Chelsea.
Are you
Nice,
sure you weren't
okay.
watching before?
Is that what you guys said? What did you guys say?
I said City 2-1.
I said
Nick said this.
I said 2-1 Chelsea if Chelsea scored the first goal in the first half.
There you go.
But it would have been 2-1 City if they didn't score in the first half.
It's going to be 2-1 whoever wins, apparently, because that's what we're...
It's a normal scoreline, obviously. So.
Yeah.
Well, Braden, thank you so much for joining us for our little halftime break here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are we starting up again? Back to the game? Yeah,
it's getting started. So
we'll let you get back to the game.
All right, guys. Yeah, enjoy the second half. We'll see. I guess we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
See you later, Braden. That was Braden Culver joining us live at halftime while we went down memory lane to talk about his sweaty feet for about 7 minutes of that. We are back to the game shortly. No changes so far from what I can see, like I said, from City or from Chelsea, aside from Thiago Silva being replaced earlier in the match. But hey, man, this is going to be an interesting second half. I'm very curious to see what tactical changes we're going to see from Pep Guardiola to not be down anymore. So we'll see.
And there we go. We're off.
We are.
We're off and running, folks.
And we're off.
The ref winks before he blows the whistle a couple of times. All right, let's start.
Someone made a joke. I guarantee it. Usually a player will make a joke, and that's why the ref will like wink or something as he's doing it.
I thought Pep was saying call something fair, and he went no.
Not today.
I will give the ref credit. He's called this game very fair. He's only had the one card, and it was a well-deserved card. You can't go in studs up like that on a 50-50 challenge. But other than that, everything's been called really, really well. I think he's let the play when he needed to. He's called it back when it should be called back. I give this guy full credit.
Like I said, I think it might get a little scrappy this second half, so he might have to make some important calls. So we'll see how he does.
Agreed.
Listen,
I don't know.
as long as it's not the same reffing style that we saw on May 15th with Juve and Inter, where there's like a bunch of cards every 5 seconds, like candy. That was a bad ref game. It just wasn't letting play through, calling everything on him.
I think you texted me and you're like,
I did text you that. I was so mad. It was like, I get the red card being a red card, but like the yellow card that was the first yellow on some of these guys, it's like that wasn't a card worthy foul. Just let the play go. And I think, like you've mentioned, refs are under the spotlight so much that some feel the need to call everything and some feel the need to not call everything. And I think it just went the wrong way. But this ref's done a good job.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys, and I don't know if either of you will have the answer to this. Do you know why Cesar Azpilicueta has one finger taped up? Did he break his finger or something? Did I miss that? He just has
I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, but if you break your finger, you normally have two wrapped together. Could he be wrapping a ring? Is he wearing a ring?
Split. No, it's his ring finger, or not his ring finger, his pointer finger. So
I haven't even seen it.
I noticed it in the first half. I thought he was holding on to the captain's band originally, and then I realized it was on his sleeve. But yeah, he has one finger wrapped, and it's not even all the way up. It looks like he broke the knuckle or something on his pointer finger.
Maybe he got stepped on. That happens a lot if you just get a cleat like on your hand or something. So maybe he just got crunched.
I was just wondering if you guys knew what that was about.
Nope, I hadn't seen it until you said it.
I notice stupid things like that. So
no, it's not. I mean, I just haven't seen a close up of Cesar Azpilicueta.
Yeah, which is a good thing for Chelsea.
I've seen N'Golo Kante a few times. What a man! Look
at
him go,
man.
This is your male version of Jenny Hermosa, isn't it? Your love of Jenny is the same as your love of Conte.
My love for Jenny is like more than any player in the game. Just. I'm sorry, I'm not weird. I promise you. I just think she's a very good player.
But I love whenever somebody comments about Conte, they always say how he's like the nicest person you'll ever meet. And I think there was when he first got to Chelsea, he said that he was going to just run to training every day. And it was like a 10-kilometer run from his house. And the club was like, no, we'll get you a car. Like, he's the most humble, like simplistic, nicest guy.
Well, he gives, I think it's like 75 or 80% of his salary to charities and stuff like that. The car that he got from the club, he told them not to pay a ridiculous amount because he's just using it to get to training. Like, he's not using it for anything crazy. So he's down to earth because I think he realizes, like, not everyone is going to have the ability to get as much money as I am. So I'm going to put enough away that I can live afterwards, but I don't need to use it now, which is something you don't see nowadays from professional athletes for the most part. And it's nice to see.
Sorry, I was not laughing at what you're saying. I think
we were having a nice moment and you were laughing.
Sorry.
I'm used to that with him. It's fine.
No. Okay, so my sister just walked in, sees the scoreline, and goes, "Gross," and walks away. So,
I'm guessing she's really not a Chelsea fan.
No. She'll take Pep over whatever Chelsea is.
She's a City fan? How do you live with her?
She's not a City fan. She's an Arsenal fan.
What? Ooh, how do you live with her?
Hold on.
Arsenal doesn't win. That's how you live with them.
I just got corrected. She's not an Arsenal fan. Sorry.
What is she a fan? Or is she just a fan?
Let's find
out, he says.
Slight appearance.
What a brother, man.
Well, she liked Real Madrid. She liked Arsenal. I don't know what's going on anymore. She's like, I just love the game. So there you go. She loves the game now because I think Ronaldo left and Ozil left, and those were the two players she was following.
Fair.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's very easy to live with an Arsenal fan though, Paige, because they don't win anything. So you never have to worry about them being.
Yeah, but they're annoying.
They're not, like, though, because they don't win anything.
Yeah, but who cheers for Arsenal? Can you trust those people? I don't know.
Yeah, yes, you can. We're going to get an Arsenal fan very soon, and she'll tell you.
Trust me, you can.
She's going to tell me off.
You can, because most of them are pretty honest about the fact that the team does not win anything.
Actually, there's like maybe 5% that do that. Everyone else is like, no, we're better than everybody because we're Arsenal.
No, we should be better, is what they say. We should be better than everybody.
But you're not.
With what? With what? With David Luiz? What?
No, I'm saying.
I keep harping on.
Don't
it.
even get me started. I can't stand.
I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying that's what they say.
Yeah, but no, we'll get an Arsenal fan on shortly. She, for sure, is pretty objective when she speaks about her team. So you can ask her that question. She'll tell you who to get rid of and who to keep as well.
I'm gonna just ask her why she's an Arsenal fan.
Her father.
Her dad. You're gonna get Highbury stories and Thierry Henry stories.
Thierry Henry. I was gonna say those were the good old days.
You should bring it back. That was the team that was fun to watch.
They were fun to watch.
And those jerseys with the big O.
Yeah, the big O too.
Yeah.
The big oxygen.
Yeah.
You got to breathe to win.
My favorite was the wine one though. The long sleeve wine one that Thierry Henry rocked. The darker red, Irfan, if you're
the maroon. I was trying to think. I was like the maroon. I think that's one of Hayley's favorite.
Yeah, it is. I've talked to her about that. It's
okay. You guys, what's your favorite like jersey? Whatever team, whatever year.
This one, and it was never worn. It was a 50th anniversary jersey that United sold, and it has the original Man United patch. For the 67 Cup win, and I think it's so clean. I know there's not a whole lot to it, but they got the dark Adidas stripes on the dark blue, so it's navy blue on navy blue, and down the side it has 1967 Cup repeated over and over again on the inlet. Like, I just love it. It's not a jersey that was ever worn, but I just love it.
You still got it.
Yeah.
Well, it's only 3-4 years old, so.
It's all right. It's good.
What about you, Paige? What's your favorite?
I have this old jersey. It was my dad's. It's a United jersey, and it's like the crest is felt, the felt material, and it's blue and light blue checkered. And it's got the thick collar. Yeah, thick.
What year was that?
I don't know what year it was. It's my dad's old one.
It was sometime in the 90s.
Yeah, and it's got.
That's what I'm thinking. Like early 90s, right? Like when the
Yeah.
The 92 team, like the young team sort of started was when it came
Class
out,
of
right?
92?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this like, I gotta find, I'll send you a picture of it. It's like,
Is it by Sharp?
Yeah.
Yes,
Is it
Sharp.
Sharp? Yeah. So it's a retro. Trying to see what year it was, but it's Adidas with their original Adidas logo on it.
Yeah, and it's like felt like that gross material.
1990 to 92. Yeah. So
Nice.
thinking class of 92 when it was
You saw the
if you want,
documentary?
yeah. If you want to buy it, it's 290 pounds.
I have one in my drawer at home that no one wears. It's got a hole in it.
I don't need to go buy one. I have one.
But I have one.
I'm the one telling you my story. Yeah, I have one.
What about you, Irfan? What's yours?
I have a bunch. I mean, my favorite jersey of all time is the Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey. Nick knows this. I tell him all the time. It's one of my favorites of all time. But for soccer, it's the Black United AIG with the Nike sponsor. You know, the one that had like the strip on the top and the strip on the bottom and then the Ronaldo 7. I absolutely love the finish on those. It was super simple. Nothing red or white related, just black, just clean. One of my favorites for sure.
I had that one. I used to wear it in class all the time.
Yes, you did, and it was one of my favorite jerseys. And I'd always tell you that I love this kit. It's probably because you kept wearing it so much. I was like, I really like this, and I see it all the time now.
I will also say I have a Wolves jersey. My sister and I. So my dad's side, they're Wolverhampton fans. So when my sister and I went to England, they gave us Wolves jerseys. And they're super, like the new, I think this was 2 years ago. They were Adidas, super nice fit jerseys. And they're like the classic, what's the Wolves color? I'm going to say it wrong.
Orange? Is it like the orange?
No, they call it gold. They call it gold or something. There's a name for it. But
okay, hold on.
I think it's gold.
It's gold. It is gold.
Perfect. So it's the gold jersey, and it's what was really nice about it is it's like perfectly fit. It's the material is super nice. I like that one a lot too.
What does your Wolverhampton family think about Nuno potentially going? I think he's gone, but like, how do they feel about that?
I haven't talked to them too much about it, and I mean they're diehard Wolverhampton fan. Like Wolves till you die, you know, and it's kind of cool. I wish we've talked about this before. Our culture was, you know, the North American culture was more like that. So I'll have to ask them actually, because I don't know what their thoughts about it are.
Yeah, well, let us know what they think and who should go in and replace them.
I will, yeah.
Because he changed the complete squad. Obviously, bringing in a lot of wonderful Portuguese players, but the mentality to win. After such a long time, like Mick McCarthy was probably the closest guy that actually wanted to go out there and win, and his teams.
But I think he set a good foundation. You know, it was somewhere that they could build upon. So I think that's super important, and you got to give him credit for that because Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't build these clubs up in one season. It takes the production. Yeah, and I think he did a good job at setting that foundation.
Second yellow card given out to Antonio Rudiger. Did I steal your thought, buddy?
I was just going to say we should probably talk about what just happened in the game.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, De Bruyne's down and out.
Yeah, well, it was a collision between Rudiger and De Bruyne, and Rudiger just stepped into him, which got him the yellow card, and rightfully so. It was a yellow card.
Even though he's standing his ground, that's considered a yellow card.
He wasn't standing his ground, though, because he had time between when De Bruyne played the ball to push off and move. He decided to stand up as opposed to move backwards. So it's impeding the play of the offensive player, even though the offensive player doesn't necessarily have the ball. It is a yellow card. I'm okay with that one. Now the question is De Bruyne okay?
Yeah.
Because he got the shoulder.
Sorry, I just saw I saw like I got a quick second of that, and it didn't look like it was too much, but how much of a loss will this be if he's not in?
Well, look who's ready to go. Looks like they're bringing in Jesus, and now I wonder if it's Jesus for De Bruyne or if it's Jesus for Sterling. We'll see, but De Bruyne's still down. It would be a huge.
I mean, he was warming up before, was he not?
Yeah, but now he's got his kit on and everything ready to go.
Right. So you think was this a sub that was already going to be made, or do you think this is a sub that is now going to be made because?
I think it was already going to be made.
Yeah, I think it was a combo between both. I think he was going to come on at some point in the next 5-10 minutes, and now because De Bruyne's hurt.
Look at his eye.
Crap.
You see his eye?
Yeah.
It's purple.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's done.
He got rocked.
He's done. Yeah. He got the shoulder to the jaw, I thought. Maybe it's a
Look
shoulder.
at it. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's so sad.
Oh no.
Oh, that breaks
Massive,
my heart.
massive loss.
That's huge for City. They're losing their best player.
Oh my God. And he's heartbroken. Look at him. Look at him just there crying. Oh, that's so disappointing.
So now they're changing. They have to change tactic now.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because you lose your midfield maestro. So does Foden now move into that center attacking role while Jesus moves up top?
That's what I would do. I don't think you can put Jesus into that attacking role necessarily. And I think they need more, like we've talked about it, a more dynamic 9 at this point. So I would leave him up there and then move Foden into like an 8 position
Attacking
or
role.
something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Why does Sterling have the band?
Because he's a leader in the locker room. He's always worn the captain's armband when there's no Fernandinho or KDB. People look up to him.
Ooh, is that a handball? Whoa, the ref's losing his mind. What's going on, guys?
I just saw.
I don't think so. We'll have to see.
The ref was. I don't know if you guys saw that. The ref was just losing his mind.
Yeah, I saw that. He's right though. They're yelling at him. He's like, listen,
Yeah.
I don't think it was a foul. If they think it is, I will get the VAR call. He's saying it went off of Reese's body to his arm.
My word.
God, he's kind of aggressive, eh?
Which actually,
This referee?
I don't know.
That's why him and Pep don't get along.
It should go into VAR.
That should, for sure. I mean, any handball should be. It's typically a VAR review, anyways.
Well, they just said that it was going in, so hopefully they actually take a look at it. I'm not sure because it went off his body and then it was going to the right of James, and his hand stopped it while there was a City player who was right there. So check.
Well, they said check over. Yeah, it's not a penalty.
I think I'm like 20 seconds or 10 seconds behind you, Paige. I think
I'm at 60-48.
Yeah,
okay. I'm at 60-35.
I'm 5 seconds. You're always behind, Irfan.
I know, but not 30 seconds this time, which is good.
Is that a handball? I don't know.
But see, there's a City player there, and that's why
So-
I think it is a handball. But the rule is if it hits the player's body and then hits the arm, isn't that they changed the rule this year? Isn't that not a handball anymore?
I don't know what the rules are anymore because everybody calls it differently.
The shot came right in between, right away.
Well, no, it hit his body and then hit his arm. But if his arm wasn't there, it would have gone to the City.
So
player
why is the ref pointing to the upper arm when it was the lower part of the arm?
No,
that took
he was
the deflection?
pointing.
I think he's just saying chest arm,
He was
chest
going
arm.
chest arm, and it's just easier to do that because it's a lot closer.
All right.
Come on, get it together, Irfan. Figure it out.
I'm behind.
I just get this.
He's fine. He's fine. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So it does look like Foden has dropped into that more attacking role. So they're probably playing with the two center defensive mids in Gundogan and Bernardo. I'd be surprised if Bernardo makes it all 90 minutes though. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it depends
Christian
on your tactical
Pulisic
game.
getting ready. Dear Lord, they're adding some more pace.
But you have to do. Even if you have the lead, you want pace.
No, I'm just saying for City who can't keep the ball for a long periods of time, which is very odd.
Well, they have kept
Well,
they're just not doing anything with the ball.
well, and the thing is, if it's hot, throw on your fast players, run the defense, get them tired.
Especially if
Like-
they now have to look attacking, their defenders are
Yeah.
going to be exhausted. They're not going to have. They're not going to
Exhausted.
be bringing guys on to defend. They're going to be bringing guys.
You're
on
not
to
gonna,
attack.
you're not gonna be putting in defenders. So
Look at N'Golo
Chelsea's
Kante
smart.
just heads up there, just heads into the attack, then walks back, heads back. This guy.
It's the N'Golo Kante fan club coming from the
What
left
a
side of the
guy.
screen. City got to find something soon.
fan club.
City got to find something soon, eh, Paige?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're what, 60, almost 65 minutes in here. I think they need to make some changes.
And not because of injury.
Exactly. I think they need to make tactical changes, like smart changes, not just because De Bruyne is injured and now you've
so
lost your maestro.
Why not bring in someone else? Like who? Like, you know what I mean? Like, go for the Jesus for Sterling change.
Well, here we go. Here's a sub.
Fernandinho's coming in. Silva's coming off. I knew he wasn't going to make 90 minutes. He just doesn't have the legs anymore. And neither does Fernandinho, so they're a perfect pair because you can bring one guy in without legs and for the other guy.
Silva has the legs. Silva only has the legs when he's playing for Portugal, where he's going to play 120 minutes for you. But for City,
he's pride, man.
Yeah.
They need to do more though. That's not an offensive substitution.
You need to throw in attacking players.
Like for like.
That is because one is tired and you needed a new player. I think you need to throw in more attacking players at this point.
But now he's used two substitutes, but like two like chances. You know, like I think you're allowed 3 windows to make your substitutions.
Yeah, there's 3 substituting windows. So the next one he'd have to put in 3 players.
Yeah, if he wants to use all 5.
Yeah,
you get a 4th one if it goes into extra time.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. We've seen this happen multiple times by big managers. What's their hesitancy to make changes right away? You know, I'm thinking OGS here just because, you know, like it's been 2 straight Europa Leagues where he could have made changes a lot sooner rather than waiting the length that he did. Same thing with Pep. Why not make something right away? Like why are managers hesitant to do that in finals or in big games?
I'll let you go first, Paige.
Yeah, I think part of it is you need to let them settle into a game. And, you know, you can't judge how the game's going to go typically in the first 5 minutes, right? You need to let these players get involved in the game. And it's a lot of players can't come in as a sub. Like you can't adjust that quickly to the game. So I think, you know, you hope your team that you've put out can figure it out. And I think that's why they hesitate a little bit because it is very hard to come into a game and make a difference. So you have, I mean, some players have that profile and that's their job. They know that they're going to come into a game and make a difference, but some just can't do it. So I think that's why they wait a little bit to see if their team can reorganize and you know, adjust.
Right. Not everyone's a Chicharito off the bench sort of approach, right? I get it. I'm just wondering. I'm quite curious to see, like, yeah, obviously what you said.
That's my thought. Like, I mean, if I'm a coach, if you're playing shit, I'm subbing you out right away. I don't care.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what I've grown accustomed to watching or playing with is like, you're not having a good shift or you're not playing well for 45, 50 minutes. You're coming off because you're not doing anything to help your squad.
Well, and I think it depends on the match too. Like this is a final, so I think you need to make the subs because you need difference makers. But in a league where you have a long season, if you sub a player out because they made a bad pass, you ruin their confidence, right? So you need them to stay in the games and correct those mistakes so that their confidence builds. So I understand in that moment not making a sub, but this is a do or die game. You know, this is one game.
Yeah.
You win it or you don't. So I think you need to make subs. Oh, they're just showing De Bruyne. He looks so sad and his eye is all purple. I love him.
And to build on that from Paige, I think it comes down to lineup confidence, right? Like you have, especially if you are a team like United where your top 11 players are usually your starters. Let's be honest. We don't have a whole lot of guys off the bench that will come in and make a starting lineup right now for United. Those guys are so used to playing with each other. So if that's your starting 11, they know how to play with each other really well. So you assume that they're going to be able to find a way to break through. Whereas if you bring in a guy in the 60th minute who doesn't play very often with the same lineup, it's hard for them to try to make a difference because they're not used to it. City is a different beast because they have 2 starting lineups and they rotate their squad so much that I think Pep needs to make some changes because it's just not working. And you have players on the bench who can be difference makers within the same 11, as opposed to a United where OGS just didn't feel confident in making that because he wasn't sure someone was going to make that difference.
I don't know if you guys just saw this play now, but I mean, look how many defenders Chelsea has in the box compared to attackers. There were 2 City attackers and there was like 7 Chelsea defenders. They're just shutting them completely out.
Well, that's what I said. They have the 5 defenders and they have the 2 center defensive mids.
Yeah.
So it's tough to make those changes on the fly because you're so worried that someone's going to come in and not play well coming off the bench because they're not used to it. So.
We got a big injury here.
What's with the referee and just walking over to a player to tell him to get up? Just okay. Sorry, I missed the injury.
Yeah, but he waved
no, like the one before. The one before.
Okay, I was gonna say here.
No,
here,
because a lot of people flop. That's why Irfan. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Just to let the play go. Oh shoot, his knee looks off.
And he called them in right away.
Yeah, that's what you want to see from a referee. He looked, saw the situation, and said, "Oh no, we need help now."
Oh. It's just that collision.
It's that straight impact.
Yeah. And
all right, so if he needs to come out, who do you throw in?
Well, you can go back. You can shift
Emerson,
to a back 4, can you not?
Emerson or Zuma will be coming on if they want to keep 5, and I think they want to keep 5 just because they're playing so well.
Yeah. And I think that's the conversation I think Tuchel's having with his assistants there. So what do we do to maintain that seat? And then you have players saying go tighter. I don't know. We'll see.
Because they're also up a goal, right? So
they are also up a
we
goal.
Just defend or
yeah. And with that, we welcome our third guest or fourth, I should say, guest of the match. Hayley McGoldrick joins us, doing wonderful things with her writing, with her advocacy. How you doing, Hayley?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. How are you all?
Chilling.
Yeah, chilling.
cheering for N'Golo Kante. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yes, we found out that Irfan is the head of the N'Golo Kante fan club.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
Early this match.
Today it happened.
Today it happened. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
It's a combination of Jenny Hermoso and Conte. That's what's happening.
He's the head of both, actually.
I can respect that.
So Hayley, what are your thoughts on the game so far?
Number one, I am heartbroken for my love, Kevin De Bruyne. That's
Me
just
too.
that. Like I saw that and like him like crying on the sideline. Like you could tell he didn't want to leave. Like he wanted to be there. That's number one. Number two, I think Chelsea honestly would be up like 3-0 right now if Timo Werner know how to like find the back of the net. So that's number two.
So Braden said too. So
yeah, Braden said the same thing.
Like the way the broadcast slandered him was so funny. They were like, "There's one German who just can't make it happen tonight." Like I was like, "Okay, yikes, we get it."
See, I'm not listening to the sound. I didn't hear that. That is awful broadcasting. You cannot be ripping a player like that.
No, it was so funny because I get it. Like Kai is German also, so like they were like playing on that. But it was just I was like, okay. But it's crazy that like Man City, if you look at it statistically, and obviously like statistics, it's crazy because like statistics in soccer sometimes like don't mean as much as like the game. Like it's a 1-0 game, but it's like Manchester has more possession and like they had almost as many shots, but it's like Chelsea's been dominant this game. Man City's coming back a little bit from what I can see right now, but they've also been like in possession of the ball in their own half, which is doing nothing. Like congrats on having possession more than half the time in your own half. I don't know what you're doing with that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do now because obviously Chelsea is just going like full defense now. I don't really think they're going to try and obviously they're going to try for another goal if they can, but for the most part they're going to be playing heavy defense.
Right.
So
well, we just saw an almost goal opportunity here, so I think they're going to take the counters when they can. But I agree with you. I think they're going to go heavy defense. Yeah.
And Pep going, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Yep.
So my podcast is a little delayed, so I'm like, what chance? I'm like, oh, that chance.
Welcome to the delayed. Welcome to the delayed club.
I don't know what it is. Whenever I like stream my broadcast from like my iPad to my TV, it's always like 30 seconds behind. So like you were talking about the injury, and I was like, wait, what? And then I looked, I was like, oh,
Hey,
that
she's
one.
further back than me for once.
I feel you.
I'm a fortune teller. I can tell the future.
No, you're in Europe. It's a lot shorter of a broadcast difference.
You're right.
Just let her be the fortune teller. It's okay.
Give me my moment, okay?
So we were talking about
Hayley-
Arsenal earlier, Hayley.
Yeah,
and
we were.
You got to tell Paige how you became an Arsenal fan.
It's hilarious because I think nobody has a story the way I do. When I played soccer from when I was 3 till I was like 19. So I played for like 16 years. And my number was 14 because my dad wore number 14 when he was playing sports. So then I just remember like being like 7 years old watching Premier League at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And I remember back in the day with the nice Highbury kits, my favorite, the maroon. And I remember seeing Thierry Henry and I was like, he wears 14. This is my team. Like literally couldn't tell you anything about his days with Juventus. Like I know that's how a lot of people move. They move from Juventus to Arsenal with him. Not me. I saw him wear 14. I was like, that's my guy. And then since then it's just been misery.
It's just been misery. I love
Great
that.
players.
That's a great story.
Great players,
yeah.
It is. And like I love Henry, he's obviously a legend, but it's hilarious because it's like there's no actual reason. I was like 7 years old. I didn't even know the legacy or how impactful he was. He just wore number 14 and I was like, that's my number. So
you're like, that's it.
There's my player.
That's my dude.
Dear.
That's a great story. We were talking earlier too about our favorite jerseys like ever. Do you have a favorite jersey from whether it be Arsenal or whoever?
Yeah, the Arsenal Highbury like ones are my absolute favorite forever. Like I love those, the nice maroon ones. I was saying I actually kind of love the like really old Liverpool ones. I don't know what it is about it. I'm like a Glasgow Celtic fan. Like literally was probably a Glasgow Celtic fan before I even knew I was, just because my family's from Scotland. I love every kit they do. Like I just love the green and the white. Like it's classic to me.
The classic, yeah.
Yeah, of the new
classic
jerseys,
hoops.
Yeah, like I like a lot of the new jerseys. I feel like a lot of clubs are being progressive with what they do these days, which I like. Like we were talking a few episodes ago how I love the grandma's tablecloth Man City jerseys. Like those are one of my favorites.
Yes, that's what
I love
And then she bought it, and then Hayley buys it.
And then I bought them because I have no concept of money ever. I love them. I really love like the Team South Korea like World Cup jerseys. I think Canada and US have like USA for sure has like the most beautiful like classic clean kits ever. Like even through the years, like they just always have like killed it with their like World Cup kits, and I love it. But like if you have to like one jersey I could wear for the rest of my life, it's for sure the Highbury maroon like and gold. That's like iconic.
Nice. I forgot to even think about the national team jerseys because I loved that. I think it was Nigeria, their warm-up kit.
Yeah.
It was like the black, white, and green.
Yeah, those ones are so.
Yeah, that was super nice.
I was also a huge fan of South Africa's kits when they were in the World Cup.
In 2010?
I just liked it.
Raheem Sterling finally comes off.
Thank God. It's been useless for City. He's
76 minutes too late.
Hayley, before coming into this game, what was your prediction for the winner and the score?
I genuinely didn't know because like I wanted like obviously you think Man City like they have the Premier League title, like it should be a cakewalk, but like Chelsea's had some decent outings, like even like their last few games it's been like, you know, rocky, so I was like, okay, well, I think Man City will take this, but just seeing now, like I was wrong. It doesn't help obviously that De Bruyne got hurt. I think like he could have an impact, but again, like soccer's obviously not a high scoring sport. It's not like he's going to come back and like possibly score twice in like 20 minutes. It could happen, but it's a lot more unlikely. But I definitely thought Man City was going to have this in the bag. I probably thought it was like 2-0 City, but I have been proven wrong that they have done not a lot.
I think we've all been
first
proven
person
wrong.
to not give both teams a goal.
Yeah.
No, like I said, Chelsea's had a few rocky games recently.
Mhm.
Like, they've had some decent outings, but like what was I can never like remember specific like maybe a week or two ago when
The Leicester FA Cup final, one of them.
Well, that too, but also it was a regular season game, and it was when Werner scored like the game winner, but
they looked awful.
I need to look at. They were terrible. He scored it in like the 87th minute, and like Chelsea got lucky, and I'm pretty sure it was like Burnley or something like that.
Yeah, they did not.
Yeah, because they lost to West
It
Brom.
was
They
just
lost to
Burnley.
Villa.
Yeah, Burnley is Arsenal's nightmare, so I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, or when they lost to Villa, is that what it was?
They lost to Villa 2-1. Yeah, when they could have clinched third.
Yeah, so like again, like just a lot of rocky outings from them. So I wasn't expecting much. Like obviously they made it to the final. They're a good team. I'm not going to be like Chelsea's trash. How did they get here? But like the end of the season, I don't know if they just stopped caring, but like they should have done a lot better than having a loss. I'm like looking through a loss.
Oh look, another loss.
A loss to Arsenal. Come on, that's when you know it's bad. Like you're gonna let. I mean, to be fair, it was like a mistake on Chelsea's part that Arsenal just capitalized on, but still, like it. Yeah, they had
They lost to Arsenal.
Yeah, they had a really rough end of the season, so I figured like Man City had it in the bag, but
I think De Bruyne is being taken to the hospital.
Yeah, he did not look well there when they just walked him down the stairs.
Just walked him down the tunnel. That is not.
Yeah.
Oh.
He looked, that like punch drunk kind of.
Punch drunk, but like that concussion that didn't initially feel like one. Yeah, it could be that.
Well, okay. What threw me off though was when he was getting lifted up off the ground, the trainer was holding his neck.
Mm-hmm.
If a trainer's holding your neck like that as they're lifting you up, to me that signals a head and neck injury, and he shouldn't have been moved. First of all, if anyone who knows first aid knows that,
mm-hmm.
and B, that's probably a concussion. So
well, they say anytime you get hit in the head, it's a concussion. It's just the degree to which, and so it should be treated as a concussion regardless. Yeah. Especially your eye is this big. I think you're concussed.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the fact that it was purple, but he's still able to stare at you.
Yeah.
During headlights.
It'll be interesting to see.
He did not look too well there. Oh, that breaks my heart. I love De Bruyne. He's one of my favorite players.
We'll see him healthy for the Euros, hopefully.
City look lost. Hayley, I don't know if you have any other things to add to that, but they just look lost today.
They do. That's what I'm saying. Like, because out of the chances that they have had, they were so poorly executed. Like, I look at them and I'm like, okay, you made it to the net. You literally have one actual shot on goal. The other ones were, God knows where they were going. Like I said, a lot of, they have most of the possession, but it's in their own end. They can't even get it past, half. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Now it's like you should be trying to attack as much as possible because Chelsea is playing really defensive heavy. Like Paige said, they are taking the counterattacks when they can, but for the most part, they know that they're trying to, just have 10 people in the back, and okay, maybe if one person is gonna go take the ball, sure, but
right.
They just have no game plan. They literally look like they're basically just trying to stop Chelsea, which is not what you can be doing, especially when you're only down 1-0. You still have a chance. There's still 10 more minutes. That is a lot of time in a game. But there's
no conviction with any of their passes at all. It doesn't look like they have any energy to really go forward.
There's no creativity.
That's
no.
A big thing this whole game too is they're passing it right to Chelsea half the time. They don't know where they're passing it the other half of the time. They're just kicking it upfield and hopefully somebody's going to get to it. A lot of their crosses across the middle are literally going to the other team. It's just a mess.
What amazes me is that I think the one good chance City had was the ball over the top to Raheem Sterling. That's the one that sits in my mind. I don't know about you, Irfan, Paige, Hayley.
No.
But that's the one that sits in my mind from the first half. And he didn't even get a shot off of that. It was blocked.
No, he tried to too much. He tried to do way too much.
Yeah.
And he was.
I mean, I'd also add that Rudiger block, like Braden said at halftime. That was another. So they've had two very solid chances. So just kudos to the Chelsea for being able to shut down the players.
But both of those were the block shots. I don't even remember their shot on goal. Unless they counted
I don't think they've had one
as the shot on goal, but that one was blocked.
I don't think they have a shot on goal, do they?
They have one shot on target, one shot off target, and 3 blocked shots. That's not good enough.
Nobody remembers the one on goal, though. So
I don't remember.
Matter.
No, I remember. I remember Timo Werner's shot on goal, and that's about it.
Which one?
Right at the goalie.
The one right at the goalie when he side-footed it down low.
Here you go. Have it back.
I feel bad for him. We were saying it earlier, Hayley. Like, I think he just needs more time to get used to the English game because he has had some great chances. He's just not used to having the ball right at his feet as opposed to in the German league where he was running onto a lot of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course. And it's funny because everyone likes to, make fun of him, but it's like he still is a good player.
He's in the right spots.
He is in the right spots. Just needs to finish.
But it's also.
Well, that's what we were all saying, yeah. Sorry, continue.
Sorry. It's hard on everyone's like lagging and jumping in. But when you're playing with a top team too, and like it's your first year coming into it, and it's like clearly Chelsea knew what they wanted, what they were coming into. They fired Frank Lampard in 8th place, and like Arsenal was in 15th, and they were like, we're going to keep our coach. And then Chelsea's like, 8th place isn't good enough. You're gone. And look what they've done with it. Like, they obviously did well. But it's just like, it's really hard to, I think, adjust to an already super high level team. And obviously, because you're a high level team, people are expecting you to produce every single game, but it's not realistic. And so I think even within a year and being able to play over the summer, he'll definitely have a little more time just to come into his own. I think he's still only 25, which like sounds old considering you hear of like 18-year-old Gio Reyna and like 20-year-old Erling Haaland, and you're like 25, you're basically retired. But I don't think he's a bad player at all.
Oh my god, I hope not.
Yes, you're talking to the professional athlete now, Hayley.
Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, there's so much
for sure.
Game these days, it's like being 25 isn't being like young in the Premier League anymore.
And it's always hard to switch into a new league, and the Premier League's such a physical, fast league. So to make that switch is going to be hard, whether you're super experienced or you're just starting out. So I mean, we got to give him some credit, anyways.
Exactly.
So what?
Shot, so like he's doing something. Yeah, they're not going in the net, but it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what's with Aguero and finding ways to just chip the ball at Edouard Mendy wherever he is? Even his crosses don't look like they're gonna beat. I'm going back to the Panenka penalty a couple weeks ago when he just
stupid.
That was like Mendy just stood there and was like, "Thank you, I will take the ball. Bye bye." Just nothing going for
That's
City.
A dangerous ball though. You're seeing City is attacking more now. Which is what
they have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
Well, they have a choice.
But Walker just
if they want to win.
Like that ball from Walker there is super dangerous.
Well, and you see Aguero give him the thumbs up, like
it was a great ball.
Unfortunately, Aguero is probably one of the shortest strikers he will play with. But it's just sad truth. Like he's a great striker. He's my favorite player that I've ever seen live.
Now, if Harry Kane was in the box for that one, does he score?
It's a different story because he might be able to get his head on that ball. But
trying to advocate for Kane potentially going there, but
yes, Hayley, he thinks Kane will fit into City's system. I think he's crazy.
Well, I did say PSG Bayern first, and then maybe City would be that third option.
But a lot of people say he wants to stay in the Premier League. So, like, where else is he gonna go?
That's what I said too. I said I don't see him leaving the Premier League. So,
like, I want to make a joke and like say Arsenal, but like, there's no way Stan Kroenke would spend any money on him. Let alone
that would require him to spend money. Yeah.
Like I mean, I can't even make a joke because it's just sad at this point. But yeah, I think he wants to stay in the Premier League, but I don't see him fitting into City's system. And also, like, as much as you would think that he would fit in well because they're a good team, like I feel like sometimes there's like too much star power on a team, and I feel like Tottenham is the perfect example of like him running the show and like having like two other people and then like a lot of good support, but it's like when you think of Tottenham, you think of Harry Kane, and that wouldn't be the case in Manchester, and I don't think he wants that.
No, I said he might go to United because I think he would fit into that system more as a true out-and-out striker because we don't really have that outside of Cavani, and they don't seem to want to start Cavani. So if he goes in there, it creates an absolute mess between Rashford, Greenwood, and all them just being able to interchange, and Kane can go out wide if he needs to. Rashford can come up to the front. Like, it just becomes a mess in there, and that might be a good way for him to be able to stay up top and still play his game.
I could see that, but then who do you think they're going to get rid of for him?
Martial, who's not playing anyway.
Fair enough.
Game getting chippy, like Paige said in the last 15 minutes. It's just late challenges.
Yeah.
It's Gabriel Jesus. I think he's had a few encounters with the referee so far where it's been 2 verbal warnings and now a yellow card.
Yeah, we're in the last 5 minutes of time before added, so like you kind of expect Chelsea to put the ball into the corner as they do it as I say it, and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Their ability to just have the ball at their feet this match has been great for them.
It's been a surprise. I wasn't really expecting that from Chelsea today.
Well, and I think everybody we've talked to, everybody expected City to be the better team. So I think it's a little bit of a surprise for everyone.
I can't remember who said that Chelsea was dominating the game, but I really think City has dominated the game. Chelsea has just dominated defensively to not allow City to do anything with that domination. Like City have 58% possession right now.
Yeah, but the possession's been in their half. I think Hayley, you said the same thing.
I was the one who said it. They like Chelsea's been more dominant because they've been more on the attack. Like that's what I was saying. I'm saying like there's some useless stats in soccer. It's like, okay, possession. Even if you have 70% possession, if it's in the defensive half, what does that matter? Like you're not creating any chances with 70% possession in your own half. And that was the thing. Like Man City had like 53% possession in the first half, but like they looked like they didn't even want to play. So as much as they are controlling the ball, they're having a lot of trouble getting it out of their own half.
Yeah, and I think a more telling stat for this game, Hayley, and I don't know if you'll agree with me. Chelsea have 36 balls recovered defending and 18 completed clearances, whereas City have 29 balls recovered but only 5 completed clearances.
Yeah, no, you've seen it. Their defenses let Chelsea have a lot of really terrible chances, if I'm being honest. Like even the goal, like he literally just broke through, and then they were like, "Oh, we can't chase him anymore. I guess he's gonna go to the net." Like
we can't do it. We're done.
Yeah, they were like, "I'm kind of tired. Like he's like 3 steps ahead of me. I'm just gonna let him have it." Like they just.
It's true though.
It is like that's exactly what happened, but they just like look tired, and it's like Pep is one of the best managers in the world. I know his team is better than this, but it's like, what are you doing here? Especially at this point now, it's like you literally have to go with like 5 on the attack, which I think I can't really tell what their formation is right now. But like you literally need to. You have like 7 minutes. You have 7 injury minutes. Like you literally need to give all you can right now. But
great tackle there by Conte.
Yeah, Conte just made I think those are the game-changing tackles that defenders need to get credit for, because that's just as important as a goal.
That was a dive though by Havertz afterwards.
Good Pep.
I hate that.
So if Chelsea hold on to this 1-0 win, this will be the first time they've been in a final that hasn't gone to spot kicks. Fun little fact. Yeah. United in Champions League final is what I was. We're in the finals of Champions League. That's what I was referring to. You
said final. There's a lot. They've been in a lot of finals that haven't gone to spot kicks. So
okay, sorry. I'll clarify for the Champions League final that we're watching currently. 08 and 12 both went to penalties. We all know how 08 ended up, bleed red, and 2012 when Drogba scored the winner. So this will be a bit of a change,
and that will put City in their first final being unsuccessful, which has
for one
the citizens.
0-1. They just became a good team in the last 10 years.
I know,
they need to build a history.
But they've been so good, you expect them to be in more at this point, and they just haven't.
You do. But I think this is a positive start for City if they want to continue. I mean, the powerhouses in Europe are changing where, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juve are probably not your typical finals winners. You're going to see more PSG, more Bayern, more City, more Liverpool, maybe more Chelsea, maybe more United. You're going to see different teams again, sort of that cycle of new teams. And then a little dominance for 5 years.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see because it's nice because that means the leagues are becoming more competitive and it's not just, one dominating factor all the time. So I like to see, like you said, kind of a mix of new teams coming through and stuff like that.
Speaking of new teams, in the French league, Lille will be in the Champions League next year with Canadian striker Jonathan David leading the line. So some Canadian love there. I think Besiktas as well will be in the Champions League next year with Kyle Larin.
Yeah, again, they were in the Champions League already though. So
yeah, but just some Canadian contents and some Canadian players out there.
We just want to rub it in that Lille sold Pepe and Gabriel to Arsenal for 95 million euros.
And then they build a team. That's how you build a team, Arsenal.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Sorry.
Can we just take in the fact that City has now gone to long ball tactics, which is definitely not a tactic that works for them? Every single ball is just trying to be played over the top. That is an awful way for them to play this last.
Well, do you think that's like panic, we need to score,
100%,
or
100%?
But they have no height in the box. That doesn't work.
I'm aware of that fact.
No, I know. I'm just adding to your point.
It's just so funny because we see it a lot in the Canadian game, especially at the youth levels. And Paige, I know you've probably seen it. Haley, you probably did too when you were growing up. A lot of teams just resort to kick and run and boot the ball up the field near the end of the game. You don't expect it from a team like City, and yet here we are. They're doing exactly that.
No, that's literally like when you're 13 years old and offsides are like introduced for the first time, and then like you realize you can't do that anymore. Literally what I'm thinking of right now, because like there's no control in that. There's no thought in that. It's literally you're just praying somebody's going to catch it at the other end. And we've seen all game that City can't do that. And especially now Chelsea are playing so defensively because they have 4 minutes until they're Champions League winners. Like Like, look at that right there. Again, Chelsea, like, just stopped it. I know you guys are probably, like, 3 minutes ahead of my broadcast. But I just thought, like, the long ball and, like, City recovered it. But still, like, there was no control there. They were just pretty much hoping that that's what was going to happen. But half the time, now Chelsea doesn't care. They don't need another goal. Obviously, that would extend the lead. But they don't need another goal. They're just going to kick it right back out.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed about City today is I think the best player for City has actually been Kyle Walker. I don't know about you guys, but he's looked consistent the whole game. But he's not getting enough of the ball to put those balls into the box, which he's really good at.
Mm-hmm. And when he's doing it, they're getting that there's nobody in the box to get on the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing is they just don't have the numbers in the box to make impact even when he's there. Like you said, he might be getting there, but he's got nobody. And there's 7 Chelsea defenders. You're never going to score against that.
But it's also really telling that Kyle Walker is the best player for City today. That shouldn't be the case in a final.
Well, he's playing in a position where Chelsea are like, we're happy if you just stay in the corner on the right side and do whatever you want there because it's not harming us.
That's fair.
Yeah. And the fact that Fernandinho is the guy that's first in the box and that's your target, I don't think that's the best way to go.
Just because he's the tallest.
I know, but that, like you said, there's a long ball mentality. Let's just hack it away, old England style of trying to get that ball deep.
I'll wait for you guys to catch up.
No, I got it. I'm there. I'm with you.
I know you are. The other two aren't. I'm just gonna let them catch up for a second.
Is it the shot that went?
Yeah. I thought it was closer.
It was pretty close. Like, I think if you watch the replay from behind, it was pretty close. Mendy thought it was in.
Oh, my sister just went, what the hell? So, yeah, exactly. What the hell? It's just not going in.
Is that 2 finals that we would say the underdog won the game?
Yeah.
I'm asking you guys all. Like,
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, Barcelona obviously weren't the favorites going in, and they won 4-0. I'd even toss in the FA Cup. I thought Leicester was the underdog there, and they won that game. And here you go with Chelsea. Everyone picked City. I mean, everyone we've had on has said City too.
I think
except for maybe Nick there, and I think Braden alluded to it. All right, there you go, the winners.
See, my thing is, I think, and like I'm just as bad for it. I think you get kind of blinded by like the Premier League title and like how they ran away with it. Because obviously the Premier League, in my opinion, is obviously the best league. But like, you kind of see that and you're like, there's no way they could lose that. But here we are. So Chelsea fans are about to be insufferable for the next year.
Oh yeah.
Depends on the Chelsea fan. Kyle's pretty good about it. So.
I mean, like I would be the same way if Arsenal wins a Champions League or even Premier League title in this lifetime, you will never hear the end of it from me. Never.
But I think you have every right to do because the amount of people that harp on you for being an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, what's crazy to me is that sometimes people think that you bandwagon Arsenal. I'm like, who in their right mind is bandwagoning Arsenal? If you're gonna choose a mid-table team, maybe Everton, maybe West Ham. Okay, you've got Jesse Lingard, David Moyes is a good manager. If you're picking a mid-table team, you're not picking a team who went from 15th to 9th, and we're guys, we have a lot of growth this season. It's embarrassing.
It's true though.
It's embarrassing.
I think to build on your point, you mentioned the Premier League title being a huge thing, and I said it before. I think it's the defense of Chelsea that had a lot of people going into this game because they were so inconsistent all year.
And I think they were super rocky the last leg of the season, and I was like, I don't know how they've even made it this far, but they proved themselves. They
came together. That was something that I don't think I expected the 5 defenders to be as consistent all 90 minutes as they were. They didn't give City anything. And it's awful to watch the Aguero crying on the screen right now. It's really hurting me because he is my favorite player. And that's a hard way to go out in his last game as a City fan.
Yeah, that sucks.
Can we say, though, thank goodness he's out of City. We don't have to worry about him as a United fan on City anymore. He's gone.
Aguero! I absolutely hated that. That broke my heart. Ugh.
Oh, I don't want to see this. But that's the worst way to leave a city you've played for a decade. Nobody. Oh, my heart breaks.
It's the worst way to lose, regardless.
Well, yeah, of course. The worst way to lose is on penalty kicks. I felt for Manchester United and Europa League.
I didn't. De Gea was ridiculously stupid in that penalty shootout, but whatever.
I know, but I'm just saying, I feel penalty kicks, even when you win on penalty kicks, yeah, you win, but you're kind of okay, it was a really hard fought match. Overtime was hard fought. It was basically just, I don't want to say luck because obviously penalty kicks take skill, but you know what I mean. But for that, to end your career, to end a literal era in Manchester, literally them going from a top mid-table club to literally consistent top 4 finishes, champions of England, to end it like this, I feel really bad.
Yeah, it's tough to watch, and Aguero has been one of the best for 10 years now in the EPL. It feels like maybe even more, and it's hard
ever since he came on the scene.
Yeah, it's hard to see him go out of City like that. Hopefully, he finds some footing and is able to continue his career successfully because
he's going to Barcelona. He'll be fine.
No, let's not talk about Barcelona.
Be fine. He's won enough trophies and enough championship medals. The Champions League is a different beast itself, but he's won and he's a consistent, proven winner. Hey, man, I think when it comes down to it, I think the better team won, the more defensive team won, the team that stood shape, that everyone knew their roles. I felt, when we watched this, as soon as KDB comes off, everyone kind of forgot their roles for City, and you're like, okay, now what's going on? We lost our player.
Did they forget their roles, or did they not know the new role?
I just think they didn't know either. They couldn't adjust. Yeah, that's true. I feel like they might not even have known the roles to start the match because it was a different
issue.
It's a whole, yeah. We had a comment earlier today where the guy said there was 4 or 5 players that weren't playing, 5 players that weren't playing in the previous matches against Chelsea. They came in and didn't know what they were doing either. So
I want to give Kieran our shout out because I got his response for the final. And he said, tears in my eyes, Academy lads, and we deserved it. We were better today. And he's right, 100%. And Kieran is very, very critical of Chelsea when they are not good. He's right on this one. They were the better team today.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't even that's what I'm saying about the stats. You look at the stats and statistically, Man City may have been more in control, but they didn't look it at all. Chelsea ran that game. Even when Man City did have the ball, it was in their own half. Chelsea controlled that game, and they got that goal, and then they just defended. It was simple as that. They came and they wanted it more, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not good
man
enough
of the
to
match.
get one shot on target. I'm sorry, that is not good enough
that's
for
true.
the final.
Hayley, who's your man of the match?
Ooh, that's tough. Like I want to say like Conte, but also like Havertz did score the game winner. So like I want to say one of those two. I'm gonna give it to both of them, or actually just Giroud, because that's as close as Arsenal's gonna get to a Champions League title. So Giroud, he's my man of the match.
For keeping the seat warm.
Did not even come into play today.
No, but because he is a Champions League medal holder now, that's as close as Arsenal's gonna get to ever getting one. So that's no, but probably Conte or Havertz, one of the two of them. I can't really choose one because I feel like they both were just as important.
Paige.
I'm gonna say Conte, because I think not only because I love him, but because even at the end there, he's making a lot of critical tackles and critical, which as a defender I think are just as important as a goal. And I said that earlier as well. And he's box to box. He's up and down the field all game. He's winning tackles. He's making, easy, simple, effective passes. So for me, he's my player of the game, and I love him. So
I think he might be the new president of the country.
Yeah, I'll be the president. You founded it, but I'm the new president.
Yeah, I've decided to retire early and just let you handle the business.
of the N'Golo Conte fan club.
Nick, who's your player of the match?
I'm going to go with Azpilicueta, and I think his leadership on that back line, especially after Thiago Silva goes down and they bring in Christensen, just the ability for them to stay so compact and stay so composed all throughout the game has to come down to the leadership. And when you're wearing the captain's armband, that's a big reason why. And they didn't allow anybody really through that line, which is really hard to do against a City squad who is a very attacking team. So for me, it's going to be Azpilicueta, but full credit to Conte as well.
Yeah. Speaking of Azpilicueta, he's doing an interview here on BT Sports, and with Kai at the same time saying this is all Kai. He did a fantastic job getting us that goal. So speaking of that leadership, we see that mentality coming out of him. BT dubs his index finger and his middle finger are both wrapped up. I know we were talking.
Like one when I was looking.
It's both. Yeah, the way that they've done the zigzag. It's kept the fingers there. I think I'm gonna stick to your train of defense. I thought Antonio Rudiger was great for Chelsea today. He got his foot in correctly on every tackle. I mean, minus the De Bruyne play there, but made a big block that really changed the game for Chelsea, and then they go score the other way. So I would say he's my man of the match just because of how great he was defensively. But it's fun when a team wins and you have 4 or 5 different names that you can throw out and say, like, these were the playmakers. If you don't have one, this team probably doesn't have a successful game.
Shout out
I think
to
that's
match
it
as well for Kepa, because if he wasn't as bad as he was, they wouldn't have brought in Mendy, and this would have been a totally different final.
I love it. Love to hear it. Love to throw the shade.
I'm just not a fan of Kepa. I remember when they signed him, everyone's like, "Oh, he's the next great Premier League goaltender."
No, he's not.
Oh my goodness, no! Relax. Let him play a game before you crown him, and he's not even that good.
Look at the ref giving a pep talk.
Yeah, that's Mount, right?
Mendy and now Mounts. Yep.
Yeah. You're behind.
He's like, hey, you won. It's because I didn't give you guys a red card. Woo.
The other player I thought was going to come off the bench was Gilmore. Actually, I thought they might bring him in as opposed to Kovacic, but he ended up staying.
Kovacic just came in and had a good little shift in there.
Sure.
Not something I've said with him for a while, but he came in and didn't look poor.
Yeah.
Wow, Thomas Tuchel doesn't win with PSG. Gets half a season and wins with Chelsea.
Yeah, what a season he's had though. That's
my lord. If you're Poch or you're Neymar or Kylian Mbappe looking at this going away, where was this last year?
Right.
I think Frank Lampard feels.
That
he
too.
deserves credit. Hold on, before we rip on Lampard, he deserves credit for this team as well. He brought in a bunch of players in the offseason. Just because he wasn't the coach to bring them here, he deserves some credit for their success.
I wasn't going to slander him really. I thought they were honestly doing fine while he was sacked. Like I said, obviously 8th isn't ideal, and look at them, they clearly are a good team. But I didn't think he was a terrible manager at all. The Premier League is competitive for a reason. Like, yeah, as much as there's teams who are like 14th, 15th, and you think we should easily beat this team, like that's kind of the beauty of the league, is that like those teams still have enough talent to be able to perform those upsets. But like, I don't think he's terrible. I just think I saw a tweet being like, Frank Lampard is drunk somewhere muttering that his team quit on him.
And I think we talked about this, that you do need to give him some credit, that, you know,
massive credit. If they don't have a year that they had last year, Chelsea's not in a Champions League spot.
For
They're
sure.
not in this position. We're not seeing Mason Mount.
Yeah, and unfortunately he just couldn't finish it off and bring them to the final. But, you know, he built the foundation. As I said before, it's about, you know, building the foundation and working from that. And sometimes it just doesn't work out, or you just don't have the players that mesh with you as a coach. But he did what he needed to get them there. So
I agree.
Yep.
Does he get a Champions League medal for doing this?
Absolutely not. Sorry, you didn't make it to the end.
Credit, but not a medal.
I got you out of the group stages, guys. Come on, no. That's not
you participated.
Participation medal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just give him the money that he was owed on the contract, and
There you go.
That's his.
Oh God.
There we go. City's getting there. Thank you for coming medal.
Wouldn't even want it at that point.
Right? Oh, it would hurt. It would hurt.
Does a player do the thing that Sweden player did in the juniors, where he just tosses it into the fans and just forgets about the fact that he won a silver?
No.
Like the thing is,
I think there's a little bit more class, but I'm just saying.
No, but like the thing is, it's like, in a sense, like I was having this conversation, like not to take it away from soccer, but I was having this conversation in basketball because everyone loves to clown LeBron saying he's 4-6, but even getting to the finals 6 times is a feat in itself. So getting to the Champions League final, you should still be proud of yourself. Should you be proud of this game? No. And that's what you think of when you get the silver. It's like, we lost this game. We had a very crappy game today. But like, you still deserve some credit to yourself that you made it to the Champions League final.
And I think
for sure.
And I think after, when they're looking back at the medal, they'll be more okay with having the medal. Right now, they're probably really, really upset with it.
Of course, yeah.
Well, and I mean, we've all played sports, so we know what it's like to come in second and lose in the final, and you want nothing to do with that game at that moment. You're like, screw this, I don't even care. I want to win. You're competitive, right? And as competitors, you always want to be the number one. Yeah. So
it's hard to find a positive when you're feeling low.
Right. But like you said, you look back at it after and you're like, wow, this is such a great achievement to get to this final. So
sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Paige, I swear.
Yeah, Nick, come on.
You saw exactly what I was laughing at. Don't even. Tuchel fell up the steps.
Oh, didn't see that.
That's like oh my gosh, what's her name? The actress who plays Katniss Everdeen when she's going to win her
something Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, and she trips on the stairs to get her. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
You know, Thomas Tuchel was in crutches when he started. I don't think he wants to go back. That was.
Oh yeah, he kept sitting on that box for most of the
he did the Marcelo Bielsa thing where it's just let me get to ground level.
Yeah, no, but he was jumping up all ready to go and then tripped on that top step just before he shook the first hand.
I think he gets it because he won, so we'll let him slide.
Oh yeah. Also, full credit to the City players. Only one player took their medal off after getting it right away, and it was Zinchenko. Who?
No, Foden didn't put it on.
I didn't see Foden.
Yeah, Foden didn't put it on. He just took it in his hand and walked away.
So, Paige, what about the kissing of the trophy? Do you feel the same as you did 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago?
Not for me. No, I'm just gonna. Yeah.
They're kissing the same spot too.
You know, there's a lot of COVID right now. I'm just
over in Europe.
COVID, STDs.
It's just a cesspool over here. I wouldn't be. Not for me. Not for me.
Dear Lord, stop kissing the same spots. Just tap. Let's go. Move on.
Well, I mean, just do a little, you know.
Yeah, that's what Christian Pulisic just did. Just touch, move on.
Wow.
Drink a beer out of it later, but you know, don't.
And don't break it while you're at it.
Yeah, right.
You can't drink that beer.
This is a much harder trophy to break.
Yeah.
Ooh, good for them, champions.
I'm so behind, but Giroud's kiss was so aggressive because he knew that he was never going to get this with Arsenal.
He suffered for
It's
so
been
long.
so long.
So long for this moment. Didn't even play, but he was like, I don't care.
Oh boy.
I don't like seeing this as a United fan. So
I'd much rather see this than City, though.
I guess
much
so.
rather see this than City.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I come from a place where I know that I'm never going to be close, so I can't like be mad at any other team who's going to get it because it's not even in the cards right now. Like at this
As she says this now, give it 5 years and Arsenal's like serial winners or something.
Because if that happens, you will literally never see the end of it for me. Like I'll be like 95 years old and I'll be like, remember in 2026 when Arsenal won the Champions League? Like that will be me.
For sure. One last thing I did want to ask everybody before we wrap it up. No, it's the conversation that you sent on Twitter. Nick, don't worry. It's not a random question that I like to ask. It's not those. The away rule might change for next season in all of UEFA competitions. What does that mean for the game? And I'll start with you, Nick. Is that the right call? In your opinion?
I don't know. I think it actually is the wrong call in this sense because all that does is that it's going to force more penalty shootouts and stuff like that, which a lot of fans don't like. They really don't. I think the away goal was such an important part because away goals are much harder to get, especially when stadiums are filled and you have the crowd behind you. Getting an away goal in a huge match in Champions League or Europa League, that means so much to those teams. Like it's so hard to say that you can take how valuable that point is away. So I think it's not the right decision. Do I understand the decision? Absolutely. They're the only sport that uses it. It's the only one. It doesn't come into play in hockey or basketball or anything. Football doesn't come into play. It's just soccer.
Yeah, but those are also higher scoring games most of the time.
Right.
So it for me, it wouldn't in basketball. You cannot have an away.
No. I'm just saying.
Right.
Then do you take away the fact that there's two legs now being played and just play one? And if that goes to a penalty shootout, so be it. Because then there's no meaning for an away goal. I mean, you look at Ajax, who required an away goal to really edge them through against Spurs, and that was so huge because it's like, hey, we can score, but we scored a massive goal that really helped us get through this. So do you take away two legs now, or do you go one knockouts and that's it?
No, you do not take away two legs because it's the same conversation we had about the Super League. You're taking away an opportunity for fans to watch their team play. You do not take away the second leg because it's important.
Okay. But I'm just saying that then at that point, then you can just go to shootouts with whatever you have. Like it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same conclusion, just one extra match.
I get what you're saying, Irfan, but you're taking away an opportunity for a team's fans to see them at home in a big competition, especially if we're talking about like if a Besiktas gets through to the knockout stages or a smaller club like that, Lille, right? They don't get the opportunity all the time to see these huge clubs come into their stadium and cheer against them. That's a huge thing. So yes, the away goal, you can get rid of that. I don't care really. I don't agree with it, but I don't really care. You cannot get rid of the two legs because that takes away a huge opportunity for fans to see the game. And that's not what we want.
Fair.
Well, especially after this season where fans haven't been able to experience the game. I don't think for the next season you can do that because they are now dying for that experience, and to as you say, take that away, it's not fair. And I think because of this season, we see how important it is to want to go to these games and how much you now appreciate being able to go and see your team at home, at the stadium, be with the fans, have that experience. So I agree. If only one day we will get there.
The rule has been placed since 1965. Sorry. Hayley, what do you make of this? Do you agree with Paige and Nick, or do you have something completely off the board?
No, I do agree. It definitely is harder, especially this year was different, but usually it is definitely harder to be able to go into another arena and have people cheering against you and score an away goal. And like I do think, especially because too, I think it's really hard when you like are changing something after it's been played for so long. Like people are used to knowing like, okay, if I win this game 2-1, and then even if I draw at home, it's okay because I have, you know, 1 goal in aggregate. Whereas taking that away, it's kind of like I understand that it's like you just want everything to be like face value in a sense. Like if you win 2-1 and then lose 1-1 at home, then you still have that 1 goal. It's kind of like, well, or 1-1, you lose 1-1, you lose 1-0. Sorry, I can't do math. That you know, you still kind of have like the sense that, okay, well, I got 2 goals away versus only 1 goal against me at home. Like, but also I understand that like in principle that's kind of weird because it's like a goal should just be worth a goal. Like, why is a goal, you know what I mean? Like I understand the fact that like, yes, scoring away is harder, but it's also like just looking at it at face value, it's like, why does 1 goal mean more than another? But I agree with the legs part. Like you can't allow only like one team to be able to play at home, or like if you're going to take away legs, then you have to play everything on neutral ground because it's not fair to people to take it away from somebody. I feel like I'm indifferent. Like it took me a long time to understand even how things worked on aggregate. So now I'm like, I get it now. So like, I feel like I'm indifferent to it. Like, yeah, like maybe a goal should just be worth a goal. If you win a game 2-0 and then lose another 1-0, like then it should just be 1-1. Like it shouldn't count that you still win even though you lost a game. But I'm also indifferent to it. Like if they continue that rule, whatever. So yeah, that's my thoughts of it. I also like ramble and have like 7 different side stories every time I try to get one point across. Sorry, but
okay, you found your point.
That was really not that bad, Hayley.
No, it was good.
But just like it's like I'm indifferent to it because like yes, I understand it's harder to score away, but in the same breath, it's like, but if you lose a game, you still lost the game. So how are you still moving on even though you lost? You know, that's my thoughts on it.
Fair enough. And with that, we will wrap up our live stream of the Champions League final, City versus Chelsea, with Chelsea winning 1-0. Thank you to every guest that's come on. Thank you to Hayley for coming on today. Thank you to Nick. Thank you to Paige. We will have another Touchline Thoughts episode in the next 24 to 48 hours. So stick with us. Hopefully we didn't bore you to death in the 3 hours that we had. Please comment. Please
come on, Irfan.
Well, I mean, I go on rambles, so I don't really know what people want. But don't forget to follow our handles at Touchline TH for Twitter and Instagram, as well as the Garage Door Sports Network. You can visit the website. You can follow all of us. We are available at Culver_Paige, at Nick McVicar, at Irfan Manji, at Goldie on Sports. So please give us a follow, give us a like, let us know how you thought we handled everything, and if you can suggest anything that you want to see in the future. So from all of us here at Touchline Thoughts, from Paige and myself, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you soon. Thank you.